Right, welcome Reap Smite League fans. We're ready to bring you round two of this Sunday debut for these two RSL teams. It's going to be Lucio Award here at Chair 1, joined by my esteemed previous teammate, son of Two Dog. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I can't complain. I'm well hydrated, got a good rest in between the last set and this one. So now I'm really ready to kind of zone in on these two teams because honestly, I'm really excited for these teams. I know that they're both coming in with some roster changes, some subs, at least for this game one in particular. There's going to be quite a bit of subs from both teams, but it's going to be interesting to see how they adjust, and that's going to affect things in game two, don't you think?
Yeah, personally, I think wingers are going to have the harder time
Hmm.
adjusting to the synergy that Hell Minion's going to have because only
Yeah.
Big P is the only one that's not on the normal roster.
Hmm.
But as we can see an Odin band coming out from Hell's Minions, and
Yeah,
then
and the
an
audio.
yeah, and an RDO from the wingers.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about what you think about Ardio and her place in the role in the meta right now. It seems to be highly prioritized. Why do you think that is?
Uh, She has a cripple. She has all that you want to dive the backline. Like you stun, you can cripple the ADC, the mage. Your backline can follow up on that, destroy the backliners, and then you see an Athena coming out from the Hell's Minions. I think
Yeah,
the Odin ban is coming out for the Hell's Minion because their name is Hell Minions.
yeah, you do want to make sure that if you are going to prioritize that hell now, if you're going to prioritize that, you want to make sure Odin's not on the board. And furthermore, it opens up that Artemis pick theoretically, but wingers are going to go ahead and take away that Artemis away. Something that me and Bracking talked about in the previous game today. We said, "Yo, Artemis is really by far the only real good number one pick." Because when you pick up Artemis, you know that there's not really many counter matchups. You know that you're going to have an impact in throughout the game. Taking that out now means that there's a few things that you could look towards this first pick slot for Hell's Minions. What do you think they might look towards?
Well, their name says it all. Hell's Minions. They're probably going to go Hell. They could also go the Persephone, Morgan Le Fay. Both are great options for mid laner. Can your mid laner play or both? If your mid laner can play both, you go Hell because Kitten Panda's really good on Hell. And
Yeah.
Fingers leaving it open may not be the smartest choice, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and I mean the other part of it is that it's important to note real quick. Morgan is banned in the RSL for now because of the bug that exists with that god. And until we hear anything from High Res, we're just going to leave it that way. However, that does leave open the other mage that you were talking about, which is this Persephone. And I prefer this pickup over to Hell right now, only because Hell's a little bit more counterable, right? Like, and you don't prioritize a Hell as much as a Persephone. Where do you think the Wingers' response to this Persephone is going to be?
I think Gilgamesh, I think has a really good matchup into some of the other junglers right now. Gilgamesh is also one of the best. He's a warrior in the jungle right now, and that's
Mhm.
kind of really good right now. And then ADC, I think like Izanami, perfect.
Okay.
Early pressure, you want the pressure. Mid lane's gonna have no pressure because of a Persephone. So I
Yeah,
would
I
think
mean, I mean, those both sound like really good picks. You pick up the Izanami, maybe turn towards a Hachiman, which has always been like a pretty good preference into Persephone in particular because of the fact that you can escape a lot of her abilities. But instead, what we see here is a Giannis and Cerberus pickup. The Cerberus makes a little sense to me. Good flex pick between the solo and support. But what about this Giannis? What do you think that provides specifically into the Persephone? What do you think it'll provide the team as well?
I think the Giannis provides a lot of let's get to the other side of the map and we're gonna win a fight over here. Persephone can't rotate as easy as a Giannis. Serb has a lot of pressure early against a lot of soul laners. So Giannis can just drop his whole kit on the blue buff. They get the blue buff, get out. Or if he's in trouble with the Persephone, he can ult out, get out. And then a Poseidon over here. There's a Capri. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they'll be picking up the Poseidon quite this early, even if they were going to pick up a Poseidon in general. Now, the ROM, however, a pretty solid pickup into something like a Giannis. Got that semi-global ability, but it's specifically grabbing this Ymir here in the second slot. Also really solid. What do you think about this top three coming out of Hell's Minions?
It has a lot of control.
Mhm.
My biggest thing is how well can Cynic play this Giannis? Like, can he stay safe enough against this Ymir Persephone Rom? Because Rom's going to try to snipe him out of his portals when he's trying to get away from a Ymir Persephone. How well can he escape their initiation and control, and how well can Ymir play against him is my big concern for Sin.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you got to be careful with Giannis. Your slippery is only as slippery as it can be. Now, we are going to see a return of the Chiron. Chiron, a god that honestly fell to the wayside after a really good start to the season, but now not really but highly prioritized. Why do you think they pick up the Chiron here over some other ADCs such as Hachiman or Izanami for that matter?
I think Chiron is mainly picked for the Persephone Ymir. It's like a Geb shield, but for yourself or a teammate. You're the ADC that has a Geb shield now, and no, your support or your soul lane is going Serb. So
Mhm.
I think this is a perfect pick here for the Persephone, the Ymir, Rom. And then you see a Fenrir ban, Gilgamesh ban, and a Sobek ban, and then also a Hunbats ban. I like the bans from Wingers because they see a lot of CC on that one side. They don't want to have more CC. And then Wingers, well, a Fenrir ban is always a good ban. You got a Chiron that's not very good when you see a Fenrir.
Mhm.
And then a Serb, well, he can brutalize out of the ult. So
Yeah, there's a lot of options there for you to get out now. Cucullin is going to be the pickup here, so that probably suggests that this Cerberus is going to go into the support lane. Do you like that? Do you like this? Now it looks like the dual lanes are going to be Cerberus Chiron versus Aram and Ymir. How do you think those two dual lanes match up against each other?
uh Ymir, Rom should have pressure, but Serb and Chiron also have pressure. So it's who can hit their buttons and get the lane first. But I
Mhm.
wish the wingers would have held on to that Cucullin pick and picked their jungler in this case, because the Serb was still a flex. You could have just showed a jungler. They would not have known that he was going support. And then
Yeah.
they lock in a Kali Herc here in response because now they know the matchup in solo. And I mean, if you're hiding an Ao Kwong, I think that might be the right call instead of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of weird things going around in this draft. Alquang, not a typical god that we will look at for sure. Hercules, still kind of standard, but not necessarily at the dominance he used to be at. And this Kali, honestly, one of the things that you're highlighting, if they would have held on to this Kekulen pick and they grabbed the Alquang there, right? Because I don't think that changes the picks that Hell's minions take. Hell minions take this Kali and Hercules. It lets you pick up a Kepri in this regard, and then Kepri kind of really shuts down this Kali's ability to really reset herself. So I'm very curious on the why they chose to do that type of order. But nonetheless, we have the two teams. Which one do you favor a little bit more than the other?
I think Hell minions I prefer because they have the control, they have the fight, they get hurt, they can initiate, Ymir can initiate. Persephone can get her support out of trouble. Like Ao Kwong trying to go into the Ymir, she hits the ult, boom. Now he can't keep chasing the Ymir. Rom,
Mhm.
he can get up in the air and hold off for as long as he can because Kali needs to be farming, so she might be counter ganking. But then you picked Ao Kwong. Now who's gonna have more pressure? Kali level 2 is probably gonna have more pressure than an Ao Kwong. So Her Hercules here probably gonna have more pressure than a Cucullin. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it really is going to be a battle of where can they find the most pressure. But I agree with you. I think Hell's Minions kind of ekes out just a little bit better. I think what Persephone can provide in the late game is also going to be pretty massive. Now, it is dependent on whether or not Skipper on this Chiron can find those very, very important cleanses, right? If he can find those great cleanses, Persephone is kind of neutralized in terms of her threat value. But if he can't do that, it's going to be a lot tougher for their team to really match up to it. What? So you talked a little bit about the pressure and things like that. What do you think of the strategy? What's the strategy for the wingers? How do you want them to play out the map?
I want them to use this Giannis ult as best as they can because they have a lot of pressure on them from that other team, which
Mhm.
allowed them to pick the Kali. So they need to try to win early, but also hold off and defend what they can because this other team has a lot of early pressure in the lanes, but they have a powerhouse in the jungle. So it's a lot riding on this dual lane, trying to get pressure over this Rom Ymir.
Yeah, it's gonna be about whether or not this Ram Ymir really battle it out, and whether or not they're able to get that pressure early on, or whether or not they're just gonna kind of buckle under the pressure that Chiron and Cerberus might be able to provide. But the other part of it that's always interesting to me is, it's very rare these days that we see two hyper carry jungles, right? Kali, Alquan, very hyper carry, very late game, very, hey, I'm gonna kind of snowball a lead in a team fight very, very fast. Um, do you expect any difficulties for either to Kali or to Alquan here to really get that hyper carry out into the late game, or do you think that it'll just come down to who plays better, essentially?
I think it's gonna be easier for Kali to get online than
Hmm.
the wingers, Kwong.
Okay.
But I can see Kwong if he gets 1 or 2 early picks, because like Serb makes a play for him in dual lane, he gets an execute, or Serb making a play in mid lane, then I can see the game snowballing for Kwong. But it's gonna take a lot from wingers setting up for each other, a lot of execution that if they do pull this off, there's a lot of synergy there from their subs, which has a lot of high hopes for this team.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you see any issues with running a triple magical comp as opposed to the typical triple physical? Like, is there anything in particular that they might have to change build wise, or do you feel like it's basically the same thing and you just roll it like that?
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing as the typical meta right now, where you have the Guardian solo, but now you just have a mage in jungle and a warrior in solo. So it's pretty
Mhm.
much the same thing, but now you have more magical damage that are on top of it. So your Chiron's going to have to hit more basics, going to have to do more damage, etc. He's just going to keep running it down. But on the other hand, the three physicals is the typical standard of characters. So, they're going to keep running it. They're going to try to have that Kali for late game. They're going to have a ROM for late game. They're going to have a lot of shred for late game. So it's
Yeah.
up to what they want.
I mean, so we're talking a little bit about what the Chiron needs to do. He needs to output damage and things like that, hit basics, stuff like that, because he's going to be the one that's reliant on his damage output, right?
Mhm.
One of the things that I want to talk about is ADC builds right now don't really favor Chiron. Like right now, the two top builds that I know of, you got the bow build, and that's been kind of phased out now. But then you have the hybrid bow build, is what I like to call it, which is the bow crit build. You get Ichabel, then you go straight into crit. Chiron doesn't really do well with either of those. Is that going to be a difficulty for the wingers now that they're relying on this Chiron?
It's gonna be a difficult, but if he's super comfortable on it, he can still run the crit build, but he can also run something a little different, which is like XC, kin size, into like he has oboe earlier. It's still a half bow build, like you like to call it. And
Mhm.
then he goes the kins, oboe, Ichabal, Atalanta's, a whole bunch of pin. Uh
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it looks like as we get into game, they're both going to start off with that same build. So we're not going to see what I've seen some ADCs do when they're in that how do you say ability damage ADC. We're not going to see that trans bluestone start. Instead, we are going to see a more traditional letter cowl, bow one start. Eh, w- do you like this move? I know you didn't really get to finish your entire point, but do you like this move, or would you have preferred to see him just lean into that transcendence bluestone?
I like this right here because the other hunter's gonna go this, and if you go bluestone trans, you're not gonna have that life steal that you would have from the ROMs build. So in order to keep up, I think this is a good idea right here going this. And then also trans can't really fight an Ichabod, but a solo in solo lane, that's a good start for the wingers.
Yeah, that's kind of where you want to start off there. And I mean, that's what the threat there of this Cucullin, when he can transform, when he does transform that level 2, it's still going to be pretty potent. You get 4 abilities as opposed to the normal 2. But in this duo side, gotta be a little careful if your Cerberus taking quite a bit of damage. Ymir's going to push up. Chiron's going to basically focus out this Ymir. Ymir taking a lot of damage. Jungle's making a rotation over as well. Training exercise not going to be on the mark. But the masterful shot is, I mean, I guess you can't miss it. You just got to press the button. But doesn't matter. He hit it. It was masterful indeed. Ao Kwang hovering around still, so don't want to get out of the action quite yet. Kylie making a small rotation over, but it should dissipate here. But yeah, so tell me a little bit about how important will that solo kill be? It's a good start, but do you think it's devastating here for Hell's Minions, or it's just kind of like a little speed bump?
It all depends on how the wingers play it. I think they should start looking for every blue invade they can. Oh, and here
Ooh,
comes the action. Kali blinks in
uh,
and stuns.
Kali finds a nice stun. Training exercise is going to be used now. But Cerberus might be in trouble. There's a rolling assault. Rolling assault not going to be enough, but it doesn't matter. You hit the last basic, and that is going to do the damage that you need. Masterful shot. Going to output some poke damage, but not enough to get a kill. And now it's 1-1. But neither of these kills seem to be the end-all, be-all. You were talking about it matters on how they play it. So what do you want to see both teams do with the leads that they got on both of these side lanes?
I want to see the wingers play through solo, and now I want to see the Hell's Minion try to play through duo. Try to get this Chiron behind him, but he's super safe, so you need to be invading the purple. You need to try to be invading the blue on Herc. And Freezing Wave, they're not really using abilities on the wave like where they are right now, which is really good. And then
yeah, I mean, like we'll have to see exactly how things pan out as things go on. Cerberus can actually steal away that Harpy, but now he's in trouble. He's basically caught between a rock and a hard place. Jay Seraph might have bit off more than he can chew, even though he has 3 heads. But maybe I spoke too soon. As Cerberus not only able to get that Harpy, able to back away, does have pots that are going to go ahead and be ticking for that health. Hercules not doing too hot here in that solo lane. That blue buff is going to be indeed threatened by the Cucullin.
I like this invade from the Concolin, but also I think on the duo side, the Serb needs to calm it down a little bit. You don't want to keep giving too many kills to the Rom because he can start snowballing it onto a Chiron. So that's going to force your jungler to look elsewhere than solo. It's going to force the other team to have free, easy pickings on and make your solo lane the big target in solo lane. He's got a huge lead in solo. Let him keep having that lead. Don't push too much into this duo side.
Yeah, gotta be a little careful about how you push out into these duo sides. Support lives don't matter, but they do matter when they're given to the ADC, that's for sure. Now, Kali seems to have gotten the memo that you sent out about focusing out this duo side. Kali gonna make a slow rotation over. Not gonna lose too much farm if she stays for the Oracles. Not gonna opt to do that. Instead, maybe looking for a red buff invade. Something that might be a possibility, but not gonna be a reality. The jump is on to Cynic. Cynic might be in trouble. There's a lot of damage coming out, but the portal is true. And now Ao Kuang, there is going to be an ultimate. There's the second one, but Grass of Death doesn't connect. And this is a problem, but it doesn't matter. Persephone able to get it. Cerberus and Ao Kuang ult. That's going to let Kali get out. Because no Cerberus ult to pick her up if she's already up in the air. And Kali's going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna forgive my Persephone for stealing the kill because Ao Kuang just saved my life. And a good little engagement there for Hell's Minions.
I like the engage, but I also wish that Giannis would have used his portal to get out because there was a lot of miscommunication. The Ao Kuang ult and the Serb ult came out at the exact same time, so Kali was in the air when the Serb ult would have hit her. So that would have been a kill, and very easy kill for them to get. You can see the little miscommunications that the wingers have since they're not a full team right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's go ahead.
I mean, like it's like the Chiron didn't make a full rotation. Rom was made a half rotation also. So you can tell that the Hell's Minions played together more than the wingers.
Yeah. I mean, the chemistry is always going to be a big question here. The wingers, again, really kind of relying on basically, I believe it's 3 subs, 1 on the roster, and then 2 that are being, that are just in. So, like, this is going to be a rough situation for them. Again, I don't know how much practice they've had with these subs. That we don't really know. And Hell's Minions, again, only running with what 1 sub means that they don't have to worry too much about chemistry. Now the engage is on to Cynic. Cynic's going to go down to the Grasp of Death, and it definitely is going to be deadly. As now the mid lane might be a graveyard here for the wingers early on.
Yeah, he was positioned on the right side of the mid lane there, and you can tell when Kali went, his escape was through Kali, and mentally he went straight to the mid part of the lane, which a normal mid laner would do. But with Giannis, you want to go through the Kali into the wall and get out. And that's what happened in that fight. It was not very good for him. But I think that's just 1 spill. He can come back from this. That's 2 spills now. It's gonna keep snowballing. He needs to play a little safer. Maybe let them clear mid wave and just do back camps with the Ao Kuang. I think is the best way to get back into this game.
Maybe that might be it. Or you look towards Uncle Fable to really get you through because he is definitely kind of big and he just proxied that wave as well successfully. So that's going to open up a lot of plays on this right side of the map. Ao Kwang going to go ahead and do that totem as well. So he's even there to support Hercules, taking a lot of damage though from this Cucullin. Cucullin getting pushed up into the tower. Going to take a tower shot, but not too much. So it's going to be okay for now. Right now, Kitten's Panda is going to go ahead and focus on clearing out that wave. And it's like you said, it's a little slip up, but the biggest question is, sure, you can have a lead in any given lane. It's how you play through that lead that really matters, and it's what can maybe win the day. It's like what you were highlighting. Cynic still has opportunities to get back in because at the end of the day, you make it to level 20. That's it. Level 20 is it. Ain't no other levels. Then the other person hits level 20, and now you're basically equal outside of builds, and that's something that can become equivalent later on. But still, the amount of pressure that this solo lane is receiving, you got to help out this Hercules a little bit.
You saw a little earlier that Kali made the rotation, but he took less damage than them two combined versus him. And you just see a nice take of the blue buff from Kitten's Panda, which is very smart, very calculated on that. And you
Yeah,
see right here, they're still putting pressure on dual lane over here. And you saw earlier that there's a kill in solo lane. And then Serb was in dual lane for a little bit longer, so than the Ymir. So Giannis has been getting a little bit extra at solo farm, but how much is that going to translate when he's dying?
yeah, for sure. GA needs to be careful. He's going to go ahead and use that Sigian Torment to pick up this Ymir. Ymir going to be knocked back by a nice little giddy up by Skipper on this Chiron. But now the question is he in danger? Now, through space and time does come up. Cynic, however, in mortal danger, has to portal out, does avoid the grasp of death, which is going to be massive here. But the engagement's still on. They still want it. There's the freeze, but there's a training exercise. Again, going to buy the time. Ymir going to go for shards of ice. Not going to be enough. And now it just seems like both teams may be suffering from some miscommunication, Dive was kind of happening everywhere for Hell's Minions without anything that was concentrated.
There's no wards on the duo side, so when Giannis ulted over, he thought there's only two. There was two people also waiting in the jungle when they saw that Giannis ult. And he almost paid his life for that. Now, he should have done the calculations with his head because there was an Ao Kwang Cucullin getting a kill in solo lane, and no Kali, no one came over to get the wave that they just took from him. So he didn't have to ult over there. I like the ult to release some pressure, but he didn't have anyone to follow him. And Ymir blink misses the freeze.
Yeah, but Persephone still wants this, and I am actually quite concerned that she's dedicated to it. Gonna have to beat out the slow, and Chiron's made a huge rotation over here as well. I don't know if I like Chiron being here. That's a whole wave he just gave Rom.
I like the rotation if they would have kept going with it, but because Giannis used his ult earlier, he didn't have it up until right after the fight was over, so they couldn't continue the chase. Chiron gets most of that wave because the giddy up is one of the longest dashes in the game. I think it was a smart choice to pick Chiron and rotate a little bit. I wish he didn't go as far as he did, but I think it was still a good rotation. And Herc secures his blue again. I think next time Ao Kwang needs to be there at that blue so they can secure the blue. But they get this Pyromancer for relatively free. So this is becoming it looks like they're trying to snowball this game on this solo side.
Yeah, again, the pressure that he's able to output onto this Hercules has been kind of devastating. And it's weird because it's not like it's a monstrous level lead or anything like that. It's basically a level and a half. But Skipper has to be careful here as Rom outputting a lot of damage early on. Ymir is here as well. There is the training exercise, so no cleanse going to be available, but instead Rom going to opt to take the tower. It's a little early, a little premature, but doesn't matter. Here in the mid lane, we're getting a little fight. Ao Kwang coming after this Persephone. Aegis being used, but it doesn't matter. Poppy Nike gonna pick it up. Giannis did use his through space and time there towards the end. Gonna at least get him the wave, but that's an ultimate maybe not necessarily needed to be used quite yet.
I think it was to secure the kill. If Persephone beats there, she would have kept walking and that ult would have hit. I like to have that ult just for the secure, or if Persephone beads, he's there now in the fight and he gets a free kill. The beats may be down, but they didn't know it at the time. You can tell there's a little miscommunication, maybe. But I like the idea of getting there to the fight. Maybe there's a follow up right after it. Maybe they could win in for another fight with Kali showing up.
You know, talking about Kali doing some aggressive invading here. Cucullin wants to follow this up, and she's going to go ahead and use that blink defensively and go ahead and get out of dodge. Can't hate the decision to basically be like, I need to go. Now, one thing I want to highlight here is Chiron opts to grab the oboe early. First item. Why do you think that is? Is that the right choice, or do you feel like that's maybe a little bit of a misstep in the build?
I think is a little bit of a misstep in the build because Ichabod is so good that if you're just going to go oboe, you could have just went trans straight into oboe. But he went oboe into dominance, and he's going crit route here. And the support makes the rotation that I asked the jungler to make, which they still get the blue buff. Good call on the rotation there. But as the blue team pulls the Gold Fury here,
Yeah, I mean they're gonna go ahead and pull this Gold Fury. They know the numbers are on the right side, but they got to be careful with this Alquan. Alquan gonna come in. Shards of Ice being used. Chiron trying to go ahead and secure it, but Hell's Minions still gonna get away with it. Ymir might be the sacrifice needed to be made, but indeed it's not gonna be a nice wall gonna get him out. Now it's Cerberus onto this Persephone. Persephone has to use her movement ability to get away. Salmon's Leap gonna go ahead and sound the death toll. Now it's going to be Kali going down next, and Kali just there trying to peel. Unfortunately, not going to do enough, and Hercules going to back maybe to provide some relief. But at this point, a little bit late in, for my taste. I'd prefer to see him in that solo lane still.
I like the response. They instantly went from the blue buff all the way to the Gold Fury, know it was happening. And then they also get the Draugr. Two kills. They made it the best that they could out of that situation. I think they almost came out on top of it. One more kill. I would have loved to see one more kill. But Ymir barely escapes with his life. But also back onto this Chiron build. I don't think the oboe is the right call. But he's got oboe in his build. Later the game goes, the better the oboe is going to be. So I guess better early than better than late.
Better early than late. Better early or late than never, I guess would also be another way to put it. But nonetheless, game is in a little bit of a weird state. The Wingers getting more kills, getting some advantages across the map. But Hell's Minions really not even close to being out of this game. 1.5k is the goal differential in the Wingers' favor. But that's not really the end-all be-all, in my opinion. It's really going to be on how they play around this next Pyromancer, this Fire Giant. Now that the Pyromancer is as staggered as that timer is in comparison to the Oni Fury, you're not even giving up too much. It's going to be an interesting development for sure. Ooh,
Yeah.
Chiron might be in trouble here. It's trying to take the fight, and he's kind of winning, but also not really. He's going to have to back away after that one. Ain't too many basics at the end of it.
Yeah, you could see the oboe there. It was working at the start of the fight, but Rama also has oboe and he has Ichabod. So he took some of the power that Chiron had and then gave it right back to him with a more powerful oboe. And as you can see that Rom, he goes in for the 1v1, missing some basics.
Yeah, but he didn't dash in. Means that he's probably not going to get this kill. He's got to hit the third shot. Where is it going to go? Ooh, it's going to be barely off the mark. The giddy up just barely enough to get him out of that situation. But Chiron needs to be desperately careful here. Okay, he knows Kali's in mid lane, so he's a little bit safer than most. They're going to go ahead and pull this Pyromancer. It's going to be 3 on it. Serb not going to be there. Now that's going to be an ultimate used to try to secure. The Giannis, however, in danger, has to go ahead and use a lot of abilities to try to get out. Ooh, Kali has to find her way out of there. Ao Kwang on the chase. There's a nice little wall. Going to force the blink off of the Ao Kwang. Kali going to blink and respond. A lot of ultimates down. Persephone still has ult. Ymir still has ultimate. So does this Kali as well. So Kali can even come back in. Cerberus looking for a lot of damage. Finds it onto this Persephone, onto the Ymir. Ymir going to put up a wall to break up the aggression. Chiron has now made a rotation all the way from left. They really want this Pyromancer. And by golly, they're going to try to get it as much as they can. Instead, they're going to go ahead and go straight on to this Cucullin. Cucullin trying to find the damage here on to Persephone. There's a nice stun. Cucullin's going to get stopped for a little bit, but that 20% CCR through space and time. Does connect, I believe, on the Ymir, but not going to be nearly enough damage to bring them down. Rom has now rotated over. And if I'm Hell's Minions, I want to go. I want to take this fight. You just saw them use all their ults. You still got a bunch. Ymir not going to connect with the Frost Breath means that that's not going to do too much. But on the other side, Hercules hovering around. Question is, do they want to go for a big risk play and pull this Fire Giant knowing how far down in resources this Wingers team is? It doesn't seem like that's going to be the call at all. It's going to be this mid lane.
I think waiting. Oh, Kali goes in. Alquang flickers away. And I think this is going to be a reset. But honestly, I would have pulled the fire 5 seconds, waited for them all to disappear out of my sight, and then pulled it. You have sentry wards on your team. Like, you could have just warded it, see if they had any vision. They had no vision, go for it, because no one was going to be ready for it. And you could have zoned out the Alquang, and then that would have been a free fire. They get a tier 1 instead, which I think is the safer of the two calls. I think this Rom is doing a great job. He got ahead a little bit. And then Persephone's now lost her 2-level lead onto this Giannis. I think they should have just kept pressuring this Giannis. You can see that they stopped pressuring him. He farmed back into the game because Giannis is one of the best farming mid laners in the game.
Mm-hmm. The question is, are they going to let this Oni Fury go down for free? It doesn't look like anybody's the wiser. Rom's going to back as well. But the call is to do Fire Giant instead, it seems like. Just let it go. Rom going to go into the air, looking for the snipe. He gets it. He steals it. That's the trade that you want to make. Giannis has to all the way over to the Fire Giant. The blue team is low. Cullen gets a nice spear mortal pain. Hercules going to be executed by the Alquang. Ymir going to go down to the Kalane. And it's going to be the chase onto the Persephone. Kali now next down to the Alquang. Alquang going on to the Persephone. Going to go ahead and charge into it. He's going to blink through and he's going to get a double kill. Rom is here. Rom going to pick up the kill on Poppin' Nike. Now Cullen got in no man's land. They're gonna have to fall back to this Fire Giant. That I don't know. I don't know how to worth, not worth.
Great use of the Giannis ult. I mean, you lost the Gold Fury, not really worth, but you ulted over, get 4 kills, and then it became worth. And that was a great use from the Unstable Vortex. I'm hoping Kyber doesn't do it again to him and steals this Fire Giant. Uncle Fable here is zoning out with very low health. Oh no!
No!
They get the fire. They get out.
I wanted to see him roll in. No, he didn't roll in.
He should have really rolled. Yeah, he should have rolled in. That would have been like 2, maybe 3 kills. That would have been nobody with fire. But
he has beats Aegis. He's got beats and Aegis. He should have rolled in. It's okay. It doesn't matter. They get fire.
He gets right tower here, and then they're gonna reset, and it's probably gonna be a tower sweep from the red team.
They still have Oni waves to worry about. Oni wave in that left lane is going to push down that tier 2 just a little bit. Cullen, the only one here on this right side. Alquang making the rotation over. And if I'm the Hell's Minions, I'm actually going to go ahead and press the gas on this one and charge into that tower. Go ahead and take a few tower shots. Go ahead and get that done. That seems to be what the call is. Cullen, the only defender so far. Alquang making his way over. There's a nice spear, Mortal Pain, looking for the damage. The damage is going to be good enough, but the Hell's Minions delay. They delay the Wingers. The Wingers are the one with Fire Giant. I think that's a win for them.
Yeah, that was a really good defense. Even though if I was the blue team, I would have hard cast press it like you said, because there was Oni waves on the map. So I think the red team now is going to try to group up and push left. I think this is a smart call, but the blue team, they're spread out, they're farming up, they're trying to buy as much time, trying to take away their Fire Giant. Good calls all around. And then Alquang's by himself on the left side of the map. I don't like this call. I think they should just 5-man group it. They've been winning fights. Let them 5-man group.
Yeah, Alquang actually going to go ahead and grab this Draugr, and I actually kind of like this little bit of a call. You don't need Alquang for these tower sieges, but taking away the Draugr from Hell's Minions' ability to kind of defend their towers is going to be pretty massive. It's going to be interesting to see how things work out once we get towards these tier 2s, these Phoenixes, on where they decide to kind of step up and defend. Looks like they're going to give up this tier 1, soft defend it, just go ahead and maybe put up a wall. There it goes. Going to delay it just a little bit. Fire Giant still going strong, but not for too much longer. Emperor's Armor, also a pickup here from Hell's Minions, means that this defense going to be a little bit easier and a little bit better for them. Maybe something that the wingers might not expect if they're not hitting that tab button just enough. Because Emperor's Armor does make quite a bit of a difference in these little bit of a defense, but they got to clear these waves. There comes the Cerberus, Stygian Torment comes through. There's the Boulder, Shards of Ice going to be used offensively, but Skipper able to pick up the kill there on Atomic Hawk. But Ao Kwang might be dead. In fact, will be, and that's going to be a guarantee. And Rom now outputting so much damage, so healthy are the blue bars on Hell's Minions that they have no other choice but the retreat as the wingers. And overall, it could have went better, but a decent defense. What do you think?
I think it was a great defense. As you pointed out, that was a Emperor's Armor, great choice from the Ymir. Because when they dove, the tower was like a machine gun. It just kept hitting him and hitting them and hitting them. With a Persephone on top of that, they're getting hit by a lot of abilities, and it's giant AoE abilities. But on the other end, I don't think Chiron used his one to help some of his team members, because like Kukulin and Ao Kwang had the beads to get out of the Persephone ult. I think if he would have used his one and helped some of them, I think they could have got out for free. I don't think Ao Kwang would have had fallen if he would have got a little help. But they did a really good job at defending. Now, Giannis didn't use his ult, so they probably could have got all out, or he could have got a good snipe and killed one of the backliners as well as the Ymir.
Yeah, and Chiron wants to actually take this fight with Chiron. Holy moly, Skipper gonna go ahead and get that solo kill, and that's the lazy bet. Got caught shopping, got caught window shopping, and sometimes you just pay with your life for that, you know, especially as an ADC. Those first two basics really matter. And now Hell's Minions may be in a precarious situation as gold is up, but they don't really have the resources to defend. That is a good, nice little damage check from the Persephone to say, hey, look, I do damage now. We got items.
I think if I'm Hell's Minions, I think I'd just give up this Gold Fury. Because you just lost somebody. If you take this fight and you lose more people, that could mean all your tier 2s and another Fire Giant. So
yeah,
just back up, reset, or wait for your ADC to get back up, and then look for a 5v5 engage. Because your Kali is about to get online, or your Kali should be online, and your Rom should be online. You're about to shred every tank that walks up in front of you. And I like this Pyro call, gets your Rom back to you faster. Of course, he doesn't wait for it, but
yeah. I mean, look, my only thing is that with that Gold Fury, one of my least favorite calls in Smite is when a team decides to just watch another team do an objective. If you know you have no chance to steal, kind of what you were talking about, don't be in the position to try to steal. Just let it go, because there's really no point in you trying to just stand there, not farm, not do anything while they're just gonna do the objective. So that's the call they ended up making, and I just feel like that was just wasted time that they could have used to farm up this Ymir in particular, who's so far behind now in levels that he's honestly really just there to drop a Frost Breath. And not even that, now that the Dirty Bubble is going to be on this Kukulin. So it's going to be a tough situation now here for Hell's Minions as they do group up around this Fire Giant. But again, they got to funnel some farm into this Ymir.
I think the Hercules should have been the one hovering in front of them at gold. And as Kukulin, he ults Cerberus and used Stygian Torment.
Yeah, Ymir is going to go down. So Spartan on this Kali, and they're able to pick up double. Skipper is going to be going on a rampage here as well. And like, you know, you just can't. You're getting caught out for not really any good reason. Kali kind of goes in, doesn't let Kittens kind of like create space. And now you have no ultimate really to kind of out-secure here this Fire Giant. Fire Giant going to go down on all 5. It's going to be a tough situation now, because they can barrel down straight into this Phoenix about 25 seconds until you get Spartan back. They do have this Chiron with some good amount of attack speed. Picked up that Titan's Bane at the end, so this man has pretty good pen online right now. The tower sweep seems to be the call for the wingers. Do you like that?
I like the tower sweep because Kali's coming up in 5. If you go into a Phoenix Siege and Ymir throws up a wall and you can't hit the Phoenix, it's going to delay it even longer and it's going to allow Kali to spawn and then get into your backline that Herc already created space for. So just taking towers, clearing all the farm that they can to keep this Ymir low level, I think is a great call. And I think they're going to try to defend this tier 2 with the Emperor's armor from the Ymir.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up this this Serb. Serb gonna go down, and lots of damage going on to Ao Kuang as well. Rom gonna go up into the sky, finds 2 out of the 3, and that might be enough for this Kali to pick up the kill, and it will be indeed. And now the chase is on. There's the blink. The beads had to be used. It doesn't matter. There's another blink and another freeze. The shards of ice for this slow. But Ymir needs to be careful. He's going down. He's going down low very fast. Cucullin transforms, finds a nice route. Gonna have to charge out. Nice wall, gonna disrupt the charge. There's the war shout. War shout gonna be followed up by a nice driving strike, and that is gonna be Kitten's Panda picking up that kill. And the Earthbreaker not able to connect onto the Chiron. It does not matter. There's 5 around this tier 2 with an Emperor's armor. You might as well have FG at this point, and you might even look at this Phoenix.
They could honestly try, see if they want to go for the end. They're not really in the driver's seat for most of these fights, but the Serb jumping into that tier 2 and then realizing that they're ready to defend the tier 2 could have been just, oh no, I already messed up. It was like that, that moment from Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, at this moment, he knew. He messed up. That's the PG version. It can't go a little bit too much further than that. But yeah, no, it was a tough situation. Once Serb got pinned down like that, I think that there was no way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I like them trying to defend this tier 2 because they just got all up, but this next Fire Giant fight is probably going to be the one that decides the game, unless someone gets caught out here and then the other team's in the driver's seat. If I'm both teams, I would try to funnel all my farm right now into your supports. Like, your support should be helping you clear these Fire Giant waves, getting all the farm, like red buff, purple buff, which they're not doing, but they should be helping this Serb get farmed, help this Ymir get farmed. Because the more tanky he is, in the next fight, he can initiate. Your Soul Lane can create the space. Your jungler is going to get into the back line. Both your junglers are hyper carries here. I think the next fight, the junglers are going to dictate a lot in this next fight.
Ooh, Rom needs to be careful here. Cucullin hovering around. So is this Server. Is Chiron going to be around this duo side? But yeah, like you said, get these tanks like tankier, man. Like, a level 16 Ymir is not gonna do too much into the crit that Skipper built. Just a little bit of crit, but just enough to be a threat. Now it does seem like they're gonna give up this Primal Fury, and again, I don't like the call to just watch it. Like, go do Pyro, go do your farm. If you know you're not gonna hard contest it, I just don't feel like you need to sit there and watch them do it.
I like the call to watch them do it as long as it's not the Ymir watching them do it. Because the Ymir is the only one that's not level 20. If the others are watching it, it's going to delay their time. So it's going to take it, it's going to eat time. So, and as long as your people can get out, it's okay for them to watch. Like this Ymir right here, I don't think should be stepping up. He gets trained in. Ao Kuang's on him. He's executed.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough situation. Again, like, there's just no point. All right, like, here's my thing. You literally watched them do both objectives. Why? Like, if you had gone to do Pyro when the gold was being done, you get Pyro, and then at least you're trading objectives. I just feel like, again, like, they need to get on the same page on what they want to do. Ymir going to de-ward in that situation, knowing how weak he might be to execute, especially from Pop and Nike on this Ao Kuang. You just need to be more aware of that situation and how vital you are to this next Fire Giant fight. And it's just going to be a tough situation going into it, because, like, the only thing that you have that's really the saving grace is going to be those Fire Minion waves going into the Titan room. And actually, it's going to be quite a bit of damage. So you might have time for this Fire Giant defense, but you have to play this right. Now, it is going to be the wingers going straight onto it as fast as they can. They're going to pull it. Kali lurking in the back. Wants to wrap around, but needs to be careful because all 4 have peeled off of this Fire Giant. Ao Kwang even considering the back. That's all right. They're going to go ahead and push out this mid-tier 2 as well. Might be enough. Akali, I also like going for that farm, but maybe a little bit too far for my liking. Now that the wingers are getting racked into this position, Hercules going to back himself. Going to look to finish out his axe, upgrade that. Probably a worthwhile back. It's going to be a little interesting little stalemate we're at here.
I personally think Kali should have just taken that tier 2. I also think that the blue team should have just taken the fight because it forces Kakolan to rotate, which then you get a free Phoenix. Don't overcommit, but like try to stall them out as they go in. Ymir misses the freeze. He ulting.
Ulting didn't really find much, but Rom gonna go ahead and find Skipper, and that's gonna be a pretty good pick early on. And now it's gonna be old boy that's gonna try to back, and he is gonna get the back off, and that is going to create a lot of space. Kali hovering this left side of the map once more. Okay, Kali farming a little bit too much now. Like at this point, it's cool. You don't need to be on that side of the map. Get back with your team so you can look for those picks on their squishies, or at least delay to Kakulin. But now that you're not here, this opens up GA Seraph. GA Seraph going forward to Stygian Torment finds 2. But that is going to be just enough to pull them mostly off a Fire Giant. But he might pay it with his life. The Grasp of Death not gonna connect. Ymir's on the chase. And there is the Frost Breath. It's not gonna connect. You're looking for the kill. Kyber picks it up finally. But Kakulin has finally arrived as well. Respawn timer for Skipper is pretty low as well. He might be coming back soon enough. They're going to go chase into this mid lane. And, I mean, take the tower. Just take it. You're already there. Just take it. All right, we got the tower out of the way. Now it is a 4v5, but Ymir is pretty low. I do not like them pushing this any further than they already have.
I think they just need backup, reset, clear left lane like Holly's about to do. Even though Holly should be grouping up with his team more. Because it's been a lot of 4v5s, but because she's not there, it's been a lot of 4v4s. So there has not been a lot of decisive victories that the blue team could have had. That they would have had with her.
Yeah, and I mean, like one of the benefits of playing Kali is how you can snowball a team fight. Like you get one kill, and then you get another one, and then you get another one. Then you're resetting your health every time. You can't do that if all you're doing is looking for a pick, especially on somebody like a Kakulin. You've given up all this pressure now around the Fire Giant once more. The wingers are going to have great ward coverage as well around the Fire Giant. So they're going to feel pretty safe about picking this up. Got to be careful if you're Hercules about backing here because they're just going to go ahead and start it. They're starting it. They're burning it. It is gone. And for free. Kali once more, not anywhere near the team fight. Just
if you're the blue team, you need to try to stop their back so your Kali gets Phoenix, gets something out of this because this is a giant misplay. And now 3 of them are able to back, and they're probably about to kill this Kali. If Giannis didn't want to use didn't want to use his ult to chase her. You got the Kali blink, that's huge. That's a lot of misplay. I like the blue team. They are pushing the right tower, but it's 35 minutes in the game. The gold's not going to matter much. I think a lot of these fights are going to rely on these ADCs now. How much can Kyber put out while they're trying to take a Phoenix? Or taking this left tier 2.
Yeah, so we're gonna transition now towards this defense. How is Hell's Minions defense? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it all right? Like, what do you think it is in comparison to the offense that the Uyghurs can bring?
Well, most of these fights at these tier 2s have been the Hell's Minions win because of the Ymir with the Emperor's armor. But lately, Ymir's been getting blown up quickly. So how many shots can Emperor's armor provide? And Ymir's only level 18. It's 36 minutes in. It's not the worst. But they don't have Kakulin right now. So blue team can easily defend this. I'm hoping red team don't overstep here. Back up. Wait for your soul laner to get to you. You have Oniway pushing up. You can wait. Buy time. They can't fight you outside of their Phoenix. Unless you don't have your soul laner. So group up with him in mid lane. Pop in Nike split pushing here. I like it too. Because it's going to make the blue team hesitate a little bit on who they're going to wait with. Kali and Rom and Persephone are still in left lane.
Ooh, nice little CC combo on the GA Seraph. Not going to buy enough time, however, because that is going to be one dead Phoenix. Kakulin now wants to go in. He wants to grab Ymir. And the nice little dash to get out of the Persephone ult. And this is going from bad to worse here for Hell's Minions defense. Like this is just unfortunate right now. Now Hercules in danger. He's the only one that stepped up. Kali gonna be way late to this little rotation. The Phoenix is gone. I'm almost speechless. Like those
That was
were
that was
two
a
easy Phoenixes.
two real quick, easy finishes. A lot of miscommunication from that blue team, from Hell's Minions. I would love to see that everyone shift that direction as the enemy team shifted, but nobody but the tanks did. And as they take another Phoenix, that's 3 Phoenixes down. If I'm red team, I back up, heal up, wait for your serve to heal, or back up, fully reset, and get Pyro, have your nice cup of tea, wait for the next Fire Giant.
I don't even know if you need to wait for the next Fire Giant. Just 3-man split each one of the waves and then come in with waves. I'm not worried about next Fire Giant. I mean, but right now it just seems like Hell's Minions, they're not on the same page. Like those defenses were like Hercules got some nice CC, but there was no damage follow up, nothing at all when it comes to like locking that Cerberus down. So they're able to just free cast into that Phoenix, and all 3 Phoenixes down means that the wingers put themselves in a position where they have to lose the game. Minions can't win it, right?
Yeah.
It is the wingers losing, and that's going to be a huge difference.
I think at this point, if you're Hell's Minions, find where they're at, YOLO at them. If you win the fight, you bring your Phoenixes back. So you have to just YOLO yourself at them now. I also think at the left Phoenix, when you had 3 people and only Ao Kuang to face, your Kali needed to jump in, blink in, and stun Ao Kuang and 3v1 him. Because your 2 tanks were facing 4 people. Your 2 tanks aren't going to win that fight. And as you see, the red team's pushing down fight Phoenix. Unstable Vortex hits the Kali.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty dangerous for the Kali. Kali has to ult. Gonna barely survive. Kukulkan now pretty low. Rom gonna go up in the air, gonna put out the damage. He needs to find one more. He's not gonna find it on the Kukulkan, but it doesn't matter. Big P is there to get the double kill. And we're still chasing here. Pop and Nike gonna go down as well. The defense is true as 4 go down on the side of the wingers. And number 5 is coming right up. It was ordered to go, and it's on the move, but it does not matter. It's a delay of the inevitable. That's going to be a killing spree, and they're going to send it. They're going to send it straight into the mid Phoenix. That might be GG here, but we do not know. There's 30 seconds for Cynic to come back. That might be just enough time, but you do have the auto attacker in this Kali. Hercules going to be the one to go ahead and face tank this. The Phoenix not going down crazy fast, but it's starting to go down now. Ymir is here, and he's going to provide those frostbite swings as well. Rom on his way up. 18 seconds, 15 seconds to go until Cynic is back with the Giannis. And now it's a base race in truth. And it might be GG. Hell's Minions going to take that 1%, call it a game, and game 1 goes down here for the blue squad. And that was an exciting conclusion to the first game of this set. It's telling you that there's going to be a set for the rest of tonight. So I hope you guys stay tuned. What are your thoughts here, Son of Two Dog? What do you think?
Both tanks overstepped and walked into that fountain, and Fountain hurts more than their ADC and Kali, apparently. And they just went, oh, look, now we're squishy little mages, and died. And then the ADC wasn't there, so, it just kept snowballing from there. And it's GG from there. That was exciting to watch. I can't believe what I just saw, though.
That was a exciting exclamation point. Put that in with an interrobang maybe, because there's a little bit of questions on how they even got there. But they were able to do it from the jaws of defeat. They ripped victory nonetheless. And look, great performance towards the end there by Big P and Kyber. Kyber was able to put out massive amounts of damage. And the lockdown, really, Kitten's Panda was also able to find a lot of good lockdown. What do you think are some highlights? Do you think there are any adjustments that need to be made here for game 2 for the wingers?
Wingers, I think, needs to make no adjustments. Hell's Minions, how they played the early game needs to change a little bit. But, man, like, if you're going to get lucky, hey, get lucky on game 1 because now the other team is probably not in the great mental right now. Whew, I would hate to be the wingers right now.
Yeah, it's a tough situation when you're right there, right at the precipice of victory to get that ripped underneath you. But it doesn't matter. They do have a chance to come back from it in game 2. And if they win game 2 in a game 3, so stick with us. We're going to toss it to a short break and then we'll be right back with an exciting game. All right, welcome back, Smite fans. You know, I got an apple in between the game. Game 1 was so exciting, I got an appetite. And now we're here for game 2. It's me, Lucio Horde, sitting here at chair 1, joining me at the desk at chair 2 is son of Two Dog. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. The game was pretty appetizing last game, so maybe a round 2 of appetizing games.
Maybe we see a Discordia, get my appetite going. But nonetheless, what are some adjustments that you really want to see coming out of the wingers, coming out of Hell's Minions in terms of what guys they should ban out, maybe prioritizing picks as well?
Well, they have a new jungler, so I don't know how their new jungler is going to play, but play a lot like what they did last game. They can see good results as long as they don't dive the fountain. Like, I mean, it's fine that you played very well all game, but don't throw at the end because now you got to mentally recover from a throw that bad. 3 Phoenixes down and lose the game, or 3 Phoenixes down on the enemy team and you lose the game. That's kind of rough to come back from.
Yeah,
As
the whole mental game, bro. I don't know. That's a tough. That is tough. So you were saying?
I mean, I like the Ardio ban, I like the Artemis ban and Tiamat ban from the wingers. And Odin ban. I the Athena ban, I'm not too sure about. I think there's a lot of other bans. Like, I mean, if you're gonna pick the hell, you can pick the hell. I think that's a great call. That's who I was thinking about banning instead.
Awake from the darkness! Hello, everybody!
They actually went with it. I'm a little scared because it's one thing, right? To pick away a god, right? Right. It's a whole nother thing to pick away a god against somebody who's like dedicated to that god. So they understand the matchups. So they understand what's annoying into it. And I'll tell you what's annoying. Osiris and Cerberus into a hell. Hell's not gonna have a good day. So long as Osiris lands that ultimate, hell ain't doing nothing.
This hell player better be really good because I would not want to play hell into an Osiris Serb. But on the other hand, Chernobog kind of likes playing against those two gods. He just goes into the wall. Their CC is all for naught. So let's see what this hell can do against these two. But I like the Chernobog pick. I think Skipper's going to do pretty well on this pick. Osiris is probably going to go jungle. Serb, is he going to be a support like last game, but against the wingers? Or is he going to go solo with Kitten's Panda?
I would be shocked if it didn't go into the solo lane, only because, again, it's something that probably Kitten's Panda's familiar with how to use it, familiar how to go against it. Now, this Sobek pickup is going to make things a little awkward too, because now Hell can go into mid or solo. Sobek can go into support or solo. Cerberus can go support or solo. Osiris can go jungle or solo. A lot of solo flex is what I'm trying to say here. But this Apollo versus Chernobog matchup, it's something that I know you should be a little familiar with because it's something that we would run a lot in Dragons of Dale and even in DU Demons. What are your opinions on these two gods? Which one do you think is a little bit better now, given the state of the game?
The bow build, I think, benefits the Apollo passive, but Chernobog has, like, he can hit two and he knows when he can get it. Apollo, you got to be a little bit more thoughtful about what your passive's doing. I still think Apollo is good, global rotation, but Chernobog matches it. It depends on the player, in my opinion, on who wins the matchup.
Yeah.
But there's no mid lane for Hell's Minion. I'm expecting a lot of mage bans, but they went for the jungler bans or they're doing the jungler bans like I was hope Hell Minions would do, and wingers would do the mid bans like I would hope they would do.
And they
You don't
banned
know
Discordia. I can't believe them.
no
This
apple
is a
for you, bro.
crime.
No apple for you, bro.
I should make that a bannable offense. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
How dare they
hopefully.
get rid of my apple, man? The apple of my eye, to be honest. I just am devastated, but there's still a lot of good mid laners up, you know. Quick name one. Eset. Eset's pretty good.
He said's good. There's freaking whole bunch of mages. There's even hunter mids you can play right now, but I wouldn't do it with Hell minions because you got the Apollo, you got Osiris. That's a lot of
Mhm.
physical damage already. You don't want to throw another physical damage dealer out there. So I would probably lean into like a Merlin here if I can, or another
Ooh.
mage.
Yeah, Merlin's super good here because Merlin does so much spread damage onto Hell, can really proc that anti-heal a lot better than most gods. Not only that, can also keep his distance, which is a problem for some mages in order to face Hell, is that they get too close and then they just kind of die.
I also think Merlin would be good here because Hell loves the early pressure. Merlin, you can back up and let it happen. I like the Fenrir pick here. A lot more CC burning, but it is against a Hell, so it's not as great, in my opinion.
I'm a monster.
I loved it until I saw the Hell again. Then there's an Awilix Scylla pick.
Ooh,
That
this is
Fenrir is
this
not looking so hot right now.
Fenrir was a little bit of a head scratcher for me only because again, Hell can cleanse that ultimate. But you do have a lot of beads burning in between now the Judgment Tethers, Cerberus, Stygian Torment, the Paralyzing Spit, Fenrir, Unchained, Fenrir, Ragnarok. But with that Awilix also being there, being able to pull that Fenrir and basically being like, what you doing, man? Don't embarrass yourself. And then killing him. Feels really nice. I mean, now that Awilix really only going to be mainly targeting that Fenrir unless he can get like good knockups. But what we are going to see is a Thoth pickup, okay? And I don't know how much I like the Thoth pickup here. I don't hate it, but I'm not a big fan of it. Is probably the best way to put it.
Well, these mages are definitely going late game. They're like, who can one shot the other one first is probably the name of the game right now.
Mhm.
They're both going to just farm up and farm. But there's a Sobek Awilix combo with the Scylla, which means Fenrir is in danger. The Osiris doesn't have a lot of escape for that. Thoth, if he gets plucked, Scylla root into an ult, he's GG goodbye. I don't know how I like the Thoth. I don't really like the Fenrir either. But if they can make it work, they can definitely snowball the game.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, that leads me into my next question, and it's a question I always ask. We got these five gods on both teams. It sounds like you're leaning towards the Winger squad to win this one out. Would that be accurate to say?
Yes, like a lot of CC can be cleansed from this hell. Scylla got a lot of damage from the Sobek pluck, the Awilix setup. Chernobog root even is a setup for her. But it's a lot of single target on that side. But you look on the other side, Osiris has like a 0.5 second root. If Thoth can time it right, that's a GG for somebody. Apollo has a Mez. There's a lot of CC on that side. A lot easier to communicate than the other side. So it all depends on what the wingers and like last game they showed that they can play together. Can they do it again? Is my
Yeah.
biggest question.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be intimidating. And I mean, again, one thing that we didn't really highlight is that this hell is going to be going into the solo lane. So it is going to be possibly Hell versus Cerberus. Most likely Hell versus Cerberus. Though it could be Hell versus Osiris. Though I really hope it's not in the Osiris. Because I don't favor Osiris to win that matchup in the solo lane in particular, because he can't clear wave without getting hit by all of her abilities. So what do you think, though? Which one do you think would be the preferable matchup here for Hell's minions to go into this Hell solo?
I would want to see a Fenrir support with the Serb solo, Osiris jungle. Serb, decent matchup into Hell. Osiris, that's two anti-heal gods that can gank Hell. Fenrir is going to do his own little magic in dual lane. Mainly wait for that level 3 power spike to try to jump in on the Chernobog or the Sobek and have the Apollo follow up.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, like, I think one of the big things is the fact that if you do put this Fenrir into support lane, then the Wheelix, the gravity surge isn't as threatening. But we're going to see how everything breaks down as we start going into game here. We'll see where everybody ends up going. It is going to be Cerberus in this solo lane indeed, and you can't hate it. That's exactly where we wanted to see things going. Is there anything in terms of the builds that is a little distracting? I already know one thing that's on my mind that I'm looking at. I'm like, whoa, never seen one of those, and I've never seen one of these. It's that Osiris in the support lane and Apollo with a tainted steel. What do you think about these developments?
They better run it down because Warflag doesn't do very well if they're not running it down. And then Tainted Steel, I like it I think it's the best anti-heal item for hunters to go. I think there's no second option. If you're gonna go anti-heal as a hunter, Tainted Steel is the option. Which also hurts your build a little bit, but you're gonna make it up for it with the Aussie that you're probably gonna pick up a little bit later. Oh, as you see at the Thoth, he hits him with his one. Cynic's gonna go down. That's a big first blood for the Thoth. I think that might not be the best for this Wingers. Blink also comes.
That's a
Blink
weird
also comes out
blink.
for Wingers.
Yeah, that's. I mean, hey, look, use the blink early. It don't really matter. Probably not gonna use it for the next couple minutes anyway. But it's a fun little blink. I mean, hey, look, I blinked and I kind of missed it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, whoa. Now he's over here. That's crazy. But yeah, so you were talking about running it down. Well, no, let's actually talk about real quick about how massive that early kill is. Dove onto that Scylla.
That's off. The early kill, like it allows you to get to level 5 first, which allows for your team to get the kill. Fenrir brutalizes onto the Sobek. Chernobog dashes in front. Sprint is popped. They're chasing it down. I don't think there's going to be a kill here for the Wingers. The Wingers won't die here. And I think and then the med pop from the Sobek, which I think saved their lives. It's probably the better idea that they went that. And also Osiris went Hog and still hasn't used Hog. I'm kind of interested now how he's going to use it.
He probably thought he wasn't going to be able to clear the purple as fast as he did, and then did clear it as fast as he did. It was like, oh, okay. But so far, things are exciting. Things are moving, and things are grooving as a Wheelix makes her rotation known onto this duo side, looking for either one. She's going to leap over Osiris. Osiris is going to find the stun. Seraph going to go ahead and confirm that kill using the sickening strike. Apollo going to be relatively safe in the back. Going to take a little bit of a pause here. This is going to be on the gamer side, the players, the gamers, whatever you want to call them. So far, 1-1. Wheelix able to find something in that duo. Well, not Wheelix, but Sobek able to find something in that duo side. But that mid def still going to be somewhat significant. What do you think so we talked how much we liked the Wingers comp and what we like that they can execute. What exactly do you want to see Hell's minions execute in this early game?
Well, this early game now, this Osiris is going to have to get a lot more farm. That Warflag is now going to start eating away at his level. And last game, he didn't do a very good job at farming either. So he was level 13 at like 30 minutes. He needs to farm and be selfish with his farm now. He lost the time of where he could be nice and friendly, like you can still do the same thing you normally do. He's going to get drastically behind. Scylla can still farm. She's got her 3. She can throw it over the wall, get a little bit more extra farm that way. That's going to hurt him in a long run, and it may even hurt the team in the long run.
Yeah. That I mean, I'm not a big War Flag believer. You know this. I'm not. I genuinely don't think that item's very good. And I don't think they have done enough to fix it. But it can help them get that early aggression online. However, it's like you put out there, man. You can't have your support 7 levels down 20 minutes into the game on everybody else, because then it's not really going to be much saving. Now, we do have a little bit of an update as well as what's going on. Atomic Hawk resetting his internet and his computer, so we're going to take a little bit of time. Is there anything really you want to talk about real quick, Son of Two Dog, before maybe we take it to a little bit of a break, and then we'll be back as soon as the game is ready to go?
No, I don't think I have anything to talk about right now, but
all right, and we're good. We're going to toss it to a short break, so stick with us, and then we'll come back with this Game 2 action as soon as the players are back. All right, welcome back, Smite League fans. We're back into the action, and we're straight going into some action, as it does seem Wheelix going to go ahead and steal that purple buff away for the Chernobog. Again, it's Lucio Horde here, sitting at chair 1, joined by Son of Two Dog. What are some observations you got for me, my analytical side of my brain?
I mean, this invading from this blue team, very well done. They got the pick on the Osiris right at the purple buff spawning, which turned into an invade. The Osiris still has the Hog. If he was alive, he could have contested and hogged it and walked out. And no invade from the jungler on the other side. So Awilix isn't going to fall far behind. She's going to get all her farm. Scylla's also farming well because she's even with the Thoth now. So that first blood is not really trickling over too hard on her.
Yeah, I mean, she is getting poked out quite a bit. And I like the... What do you think about this Vampiric Shroud pickup for the mid laner here and the side of Thoth? Do you think that's like a worthy pickup, or is that maybe like, whatever now? Hold on, wait for that moment. Stygian Torment going to be used to try to save Cerberus, but Cerberus is going to go down to Rogue, and Rogue going to pick up a second part of his kill participation. 1 kill, 0 deaths, 1 assist. Pretty good for a jungler pre-5 minutes.
This Awilix is all over this map. He's doing exactly what he needs to do with an Awilix. But the Vampiric Shroud, I'm a little questioning because I don't think Thoth truly needs it into that comp. I would have preferred even Sands of Time. I would have preferred Conduit Gem over Vampiric Shroud here. I mean, it heals, but at the end of the day, it's an Ascilla and it's an Awilix. They're going to pull you and insta-kill you. The healing isn't going to help you much. Sobek also has anti-heal, so like it's even reduced.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking about anti-heal, I mean, look at this. You got Fenrir with the Brawler's Beat Stick. You got Cerberus with the Pestilence. Anti-heal is in the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up the Cursed Donk. Now, it's going to be a purple buff invade again. And important to note is that they lost the purple, they lost the blue as well. So somewhere here, Hell's Minions got to put up a fight. They got to defend their buffs a little bit more, I think.
I think they need to put up a little bit more of a fight, like they're about to do right now. Osiris puts out his tethers. Sobek dashes. Chernobog into the wall.
Ooh, Chernobog is probably in some danger here, but not if they can't actually find that damage. Kids Panda able to pick up a kill there on the Hell as well. And Fenrir looking for more. Wheelix gonna go down as well. And that's gonna be 2 kills on the solo side of the map. And that's what you want to see from Hell's Minions. Put up a defense, and you're gonna go ahead and pick up this Gorp. That's pretty solid. It's gonna give you a little bit like 100 gold lead, if that. But it's gonna be a solid start to kind of get a little bit of a lead going.
That was great punishment from both invades. I wasn't expecting it to happen because it was a little late for both sides. But the blue buff invade lost 2 lives for it. Serb's now a level ahead of Hell. That's not going to be a great time for her. Awilix is still ahead of this Fenrir, though. But the anti-heal that they all have, I like it into this Hell. Sobek also has innate healing. Scylla, she's going the cooldown route, so she's probably not going to go lifesteal. I think that's a worthy sacrifice. And even hurts the freaking Hunter going the freaking tree of healing, lifesteal.
The Hunter's Cowl will have some lifesteal behind it, so you're reducing all of those things. Hell even went ahead and grabbed a Pestilence as well, so she's gonna go ahead and say, Cerberus, you can't heal off my healing. So gonna be one of those things. Now that blue buff still being pressured by this Hell, not sure which way it went, but doesn't matter. Though gonna have to beads out Cynic's good route, but on the other end of things, you're gonna pull out that ultimate if you're going. Ooh, miscommunication, but it doesn't matter. Somebody's gonna die. Now the question is, does Cynic die on the other end? No, nice plug. We'll put Osiris on the wrong end of that wall, but holy moly, that almost went bad there for the wingers.
I think what happened there was the Awilix 3 knocked up the Fenrir. He thought the Fenrir was jumping, so he went for the jump instead of the knockup. So there's a little bit of miscommunication. I don't disagree that he aimed for the jump. Like, if you didn't hear it or your person didn't call it, you aim for the jump because that's what's going to happen. Because if he gets knocked up by the Awilix, he's dead anyway. But as Awilix is slowly getting 2 levels here, Sobek is 1 level. Oh, here Kyber's looking for the solo kill. He's out of mana. He can't really chase.
Oh, the ult is up. The ult is up. Now the question is, where are you going to go? He got 2 health.
He needs to aim back for Kyber. Oh, he doesn't aim back for Kyber. Oh, he just drops back down.
He's buying time. Awilix is on her way. Go ahead. No mana on any side. And there's Sobek as well. Kyber's been baited. And go ahead and eat up, Sobek. Eat up. Because holy moly. I mean, you can't go and dedicate too much on that. When Chernobog's in the air for that long, you know something's going weird.
I personally think Kyber misplayed by walking away. If he stayed, he gets the kill, and then there's a chance that he can walk out. But because he walked back in, he's still slowed by the Chernobog. And Wilix jumps in after the Osiris. Wilix pulls Osiris ults out.
Osiris ulting away, however, means that Stove can't really follow up on too much damage. Stove going to lose out on a little bit of farm in the mid lane, start falling a level behind this Scylla. Again, just got to be a little careful on how they play it out. Ooh, blue buff being pressured once more by this Hell. Hell wants to look for that bit of a steal and is able to do so as well. Cerberus gonna go another wave without a blue buff. It's gonna be a little unfortunate. There is Osiris. Osiris wants to pressure out this Chernobog with no ultimate. Just do a little bit of pressuring. Again, Chernobog opting to get that Odibo first. I'm still not a big fan of the Oboe first item. It just doesn't give you that much power. It's probably why you lose those early 1v1s because of the fact that on one side you have an Icavale, which is powering up all of Kyber's attacks and depowering Chernobog.
And also, you're losing power on the Oboe procs. Oh, and there's a gank on the Soul lane, which gets a kill on Hell. Hell is pushing up a little too hard, in my opinion. I think he needs to play back a little bit, go with the invades with the Awilix, and maybe call Chernobog over if you need help. But I like this response here, going for this gold period.
Yeah, that's going to be a little tough, though. GA Seraph losing a lot of health quickly. And they're going to kind of half pick it up, but I'm not sure if Thoth is the one that you want doing that. There is Rogue. Rogue is in. Rogue looking for that damage. Not going to be enough to knock him down immediately. Final Judgment is going to be used. It's going to be huge. And that's going to be a kill. There's the I'm a monster. Not going to be enough of damage, but the crush will do it. And you're going to go chase down the Sobek. Sobek going to go low. Kyber is here. Now it's Chernobog. Chernobog going to be the target. Kyber going to pick up a double kill. Crush. Cynic going to pick up the double kill as well. Both backliners putting on a little bit of a show. And still, the Gold Fury, you know, just kind of chilling. But pretty nice little fight there. A little excitement there early on, 11 minutes in. What do you think about that one, Son of $2?
I think wingers keep overplaying their hands. They keep pushing, but they're not getting the responses they need. Like, they go in onto this off, they get the beads, and they keep going. But their support, not a lot of HPs. They have no front line for these 4v4 engagements. So Rogue gets turned on, and then Thoth hits the two-man ult onto the Sobek Awilix. Cynic did what he could. He got 2 kills for it. That was a great crushes, great roots from him. But at the end of the day, and
oh no, Hell might be dead here. Spartan's gonna be the one credited with that kill. Now it's Rogue versus the 3-headed dog, and the other dog has come in here and called that 2 dogs, because that's gonna be it there for Rogue. He's gonna go down, and Chernobog had the ult as well. He probably used that to help out, and that's gonna be a rotation. That's gonna be the go button. Dolph gonna dash through. There's Lord of the Afterlife. Judgment Tether still on the skipper. Not going to be enough. The root is good. Seraph looking for a pluck maybe into the tower. Going to think better of it, knowing that there is no defensive ultimate for that Chernobog. Nice little rotation, though, here coming from Hell's Minions. How do you feel about that little bit of an engagement? As I speak, however, Cynic going to take some pressure from this Fenrir. Anyway, back to the question. What did you think about those little engagements?
I think it's still more overplaying your hand. Like, again, they push up on that blue buff. Chernobog didn't have ult, and they overplayed their hand again, and they died in the blue buff area. Back-to-back blue buff invades have failed. They probably need to tone it down a bit, play back, because the 2-level lead Awilix has is now even. So they need to back up, reset, look for a team fight together, because Cynic has shown that he can hit abilities, play around the mid laner right now, who is now a level up on this Thoth. 2 levels up on this Thoth.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, even if the Thoth is 2 levels behind, he hasn't died. So, like, hey, Can't discredit him too much. He just got to farm a little bit more efficiently. This red buff was looked at for an invade. They're going to choose not to do it. Hell has made a huge rotation over. And I'm not exactly sure why. Do you have a particular reason as to why Hell might rotate the mid?
Hell's minions, they were on the red buff. I think Hell made the conscious decision to rotate over for the help. He should have stayed to take a minion wave or two, but they did end up getting the red buff, so his rotation wasn't all for naught. Sir probably called them missing, as is Awilix is looking onto this Apollo, but he chooses to back off.
Yeah, she passed right over that ward there in the top left, so could not be done. GA Seraph gonna take a little bit of damage there from that Fury. I think he went to go de-ward something in that back corner there. Oh, Wheeler's gonna find Spartan, but Spartan's still alive. He's still good. He's looking to get away. Is he gonna be able to do so? Yes, he is. There is going to be the ultimates used by both. Now Osiris going in. Osiris wants to find the Awilix. Not able to do it. Cynic gets the killing spree. However, on the other end, Apollo's in the air. There's a big stinging torment. It's going to pick up all of them. Going to pull some beads, pull some cleanse. But it doesn't matter. There's the curse song. Curse song's being used. The leap in. Going to go ahead and pick up the crocodile. He's going to go back to the Nile and probably deny whether or not he got killed. This is going to be a little bit of an engagement around this tier 1 tower. They're going to turn this into a gold fury pull. Hey, look, you lose one, you get two, and you get all their ultimates except for Hell. I guess Hell switches, so it don't really matter. But you get all their ultimates. Now we looking at this Gold Fury. Hell's rotating around. There's the engagement by the Fenrir. Fenrir going to go in. Fenrir looking for that damage. And that is not going to be enough. Spartan's going to go down. But that created a lot of space. The problem is, it created space, but the Gold Fury got dropped. Oh, no. You did nothing. Nothing has happened.
I think Fenrir threw away his life there, but his team didn't stick onto it. You saw the Osiris, he had no HP, but there's another tank right beside him. He should have just picked it up. That would have been a Gold Fury. And then the Fenrir's life would not have been all for nothing. But on the other hand, Cynic's playing really well on this. I like him on this Scylla. Giannis sometimes left a little bit to be desired, but hey, the Emperor's armor coming right back out, as Rosie's pointing out. I like this pickup from the Osiris. You're going to get behind because of the war flag and your early death. Why not just enhance it? Say, look, I'm going to play under tower. Come get me. I have a machine gun in my tower, and you're going to die for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice little defensive relic. And even though we highlighted that maybe this Osiris will fall behind in levels, that has not happened. He's actually a level above this Sobek. So that's a good look there coming out of the support lane. Now the question is, what do we do next? The gold is still up. Who's going to be the first one to look for it? Who's going to be the one to secure it? Might be what determines who actually comes out with a heavy lead. Right now, we're only talking about 300 gold. Wheelix looking for an engagement here onto the Cerberus. But Cerberus is really healthy. There is a big Curse Stomp being used everywhere. There is going to be the Stygian Torment. It's going to find somebody. Chernobog has rotated over, but it doesn't matter. Rogue going to be the next one to go, and it's going to be courtesy of the opponent jungler, Osiris, making the rotation over. Now he wants a little bit of a fight, but he needs to be careful because right behind him is that Sobek. He's going to get hit by the damage from Hell. Now things are going back, but Apollo is in the air. Apollo doesn't have too long to stay up there. So they have to make a play if they want to make one, and they have to make one now. They're going to go ahead, land down on the Hell, land down on the Sobek. Now the call is go straight for this Hell. Hell taking a lot of damage, going to not die to the Final Judgment. Final Judgment, not enough damage. Now it's the Osiris looking for the kill, but he's going to get plucked away by the Sobek, and that's going to be a great pluck. He's going to go down. Nonetheless, Cynic's going to get credited with it. Now Skipper's going to pick up the Cerberus as well. And that was just a split call. Osiris overzealous. I mean, you just can't dive like that. You're a support, man. You're support. Gotta be there for your team.
I think both teams are just, every time they get a little bit of a lead, they're over chewing their hand. They're overbiting their hand. As you saw in the solo lane earlier on, Rogue did a lot of great things, but he got ulted at the end of the day. As he ults the Fenrir, Fenrir jumps away and beads. I think they both sides just need to understand that, like, take what you can get. back out. Don't overplay your hands because both teams' ADCs have a global ult. They can be there in a moment's notice.
Ooh, this
As-
Gold Fury is being picked up, and it's becoming pretty low. The crush is there. It should be secure. The wingers will control it. Not enough damage out there. Osiris now going to be in danger. Great pluck. We'll send him back. Will the stun come through? It will. And this is the danger of the way that Hell's minions back. They left open that Gold Fury wide open. Now they leave open this mid tower. You gotta be there for these defenses. You gotta be there for these objectives. You can't just let them go and let them go by the wayside. They even look a little too intimidated to step up. Like, yeah, you gotta step up at least a little bit. As Rogue now looking for that engagement on the Thoth, knowing that Thoth is around this red buff, he engages back on, and that's so much damage. Kyber is gone. Now it's just Fenrir and Cerberus defending this tier 2. Thoth is basically out of the fight. Osiris is returning. I mean, again, like these really heads up play by Rogue to kind of look for that Thoth on the red buff there.
I like this. Wingers are playing as a unit. They keep playing as a unit. There's little mistakes in laning phases, but that comes with growing pain because you had a lot of roster changes at the beginning of the year. They look like a unit, and they're gonna. I'm wanting to see what they do for the rest of this game because they're grouping up as 5. They're death balling. They're winning every 5v5 fight they show against Hell's minions.
Yeah, I mean, Hell's Minions got to clean it up a little bit. Like it's the same thing that we saw in game 1. They have all the tools necessary to come out on top in some of these fights, but the way that they execute has left a lot to be desired in terms of their damage output and their target priority. But now maybe they look towards this Pyromancer to relieve some of their woes. The XP disparity is not going to be favoring really any team too heavily. Right now, the biggest lead is going to be that 2-level lead in the mid lane. And it looks like this Pyromancer going to be picked up. Osiris looking to... Ooh! Oh! Okay, Hell's Minion pick up the Pyromancer. I'm a Monster comes through, only connects on Cerberus. Now Sobek's in danger. Sobek has to retreat. There's the Lord of the Afterlife, connects on Hell, probably the one that you want to hit the most. Fenrir is going to pick up the double kill. There goes Hell. Hell's trying to heal up. She's trying to survive. She's trying not to give up the triple. But what a big root by this Scylla. But Kyra's going to pick up Hell on the other end. A nice ultimate brings him over and says, you know what? Bye-bye, Goddess of the Underworld. And this is going to be that tier 2 tower and the Pyromancer. Things are swinging back in Hell's minion favor. And look, I think that was a great call, great engage there by Hell's minion. What do you got to break it down?
It was a great engage. The entire team but Chernobog were on that Pyromancer. Scylla's a little bit away. So one Fenrir stun into a Cerberus ult meant that all the team was going to be brung into a Final Judgment. Final Judgment hits everybody except Scylla. Scylla was doing a lot of healing for her team, which is not what you want to see. But in this scenario, I like the peel that he was doing. Great job by Cynic. But at the end of the day, it was all for nothing because Apollo came in at the end, finished the only player that he almost saved. So,
yeah, I mean, and it was a great route. Caught 3, can't really argue with that. But not gonna be enough to save that Hell. He did survive at the end as well, so it's not the end of the day. He's also the first one to tick over to that level 20. This is a bold call here now. It's gonna go ahead and straight onto this Fire Giant as a 5-man. The only one there is going to be this Fenrir. Fenrir might have no other choice but to watch this happen. I'm a Monster has been popped. He's gonna go leap. That's a beautiful ult. The wingers are gonna secure it. Fenrir does put out a lot of damage. You know, that's one of those situations you kind of just maybe try it. But again, I really like the way that wingers respond. They're not gonna wait. They're not gonna hesitate. They're gonna go ahead and take advantage of any situation that they get a slight opportunity. What tells Minions' response here? What do we do?
I think you go farming a little bit, and you need to Apollo to split push here. Force somebody to back somewhere else to stop your split pushing, so you give your team a chance to fight. Because you can ult over. If this is Chernobog that rotates over, they can't do towers very fast. They have an Awilix. Awilix is okay at it. But at the end of the day, I think your Apollo needs to be split pushing here. Because if you're just going to try to 5v5 fight here, as Cerberus ults in with the Stygian Tournament.
Yeah, and there it is. Final Judgment gonna connect right through. Rogue has to go, but it's not gonna be enough, I don't think, because Osiris is on the run. Chernobog going up into the sky. I'm a monster gonna connect, but not enough damage. It's gonna be Chernobog coming right back down. Chernobog wants to get a kill. Chernobog wants to get something. That is a huge crush. Finds a lot of damage. Don't worry, it's just Fenrir here now. Hell Sustain is coming through. He's gonna win the poke battle. Spartan needs to be careful. Spartan needs to be very aware of how low he might go. And this is going to be a situation precarious here for Hell's minions. They're not healthy enough, but they might be able to pull out something. There is the ultimate from Fenrir. Fenrir not going to be able to find a target. Finds the Chernobog. Chernobog does beads. A little bit late on it, but it doesn't matter. Again, the heals are going to be very real. There is the blink engage. Rogue going to have to run away now. Skipper finally gonna pick up this tier 2. Hell gonna pick up one. Skipper gonna pick up the other. You can't back in front of somebody like that. And Rogue trying to avoid the Thoth because Thoth is putting out the damage. That is just such an unfortunate little type. Like, you can't back in front of them. I don't know what they were doing.
They did a great initial fight, but they stayed and they just kept staying. Like, you won the initial fight, but they got a Hell, they got Fire Giant. They can just keep healing and healing and heal. And only Kyber backed, and he didn't have ult at the initial time when he backed. So it was only going to be a 4-man defense against 4 people. Hell brought all of them back up to full health. Cerberus had no HP to tank. I'm lost for why did they try to defend that tower? They should have backed up, reset, and then went back to try to defend mid tower or tier 2 tower in left lane.
Maybe, but at the very least, they delayed his Fire Giant in its full capacity. The tower wipe might happen, but now the threat of one of your Phoenixes going down is pretty much almost non-existent. However, they really need to figure out, they need to kill this Hell, okay? Like we saw at that tier 1, that tower defense, they won, and they won pretty handedly, right? But they didn't kill the Hell, so Hell's just sitting there like, okay, everybody's at 25%. It's cool. We're going to heal you guys back up. We're going to get things done. We're going to pick up this Primal Fury as well for Hell's minions. I mean, not Hell's minions, the Wingers. And that's the danger of this Hell, right? Is like, if you don't eliminate her or you don't start killing the teammates around her, then even if you win a fight, that would typically be a win, is not going to be a win anymore because of the FG passive and because of the Hell healing. And that's exactly what happened in that instance.
I personally believe that is you either got to kill this Hell or you got to kill this Scylla. Scylla's 6k higher damage than your Thoth. Like, that is not acceptable. Something needs to happen. You need to kill this Hell who's healing Scylla, or you need to kill Scylla outright. You're getting this Pyro is not going to help you in the long run, but this Scylla is destroying your team. You need to find a way to either get rid of this heal from the Hell or get rid of Scylla.
Yeah, that's gonna be part of the issue. Is gonna be maintaining that engage, because the Wingers just have so many good disengage tools. Scylla can Sentinel over a wall. She's gone. Wheelix can use Suku the leap out. She's gone. You just have so many good disengage. Chernobog goes up into the sky. Gone. It's just a lot of options there. But if they can focus up and find a good kill, again, either on this Hell, either on this Scylla, possibly even the Chernobog, because even though the Chernobog's not the one doing the damage, for me, the Chernobog is also the one that's going to threaten Phoenixes. It's the one that's going to threaten towers. It's not going to be the Scylla. It's not going to be this Hell. It's going to be this Chernobog. So if you eliminate him, even if you lose a fight on the back end, they might not be able to do too much.
Toxic Blade coming out of the support Osiris. He's the support. I think it's a worthy pickup. They have a crap ton of anti-heal on this team. I want to see what they can do with it as the Fire Giant fight is about to happen. Osiris, Thoth is charging the Final Judgment. Scylla secures the Fire Giant.
Yeah, and that's where the Final Judgment might have been more useful on the defense. Fenrir wants to take the fight, but he's not going to be able to do it. Rogue going to pick up the kill onto that Fenrir. And this is where things are a little bit dire. You know, I respect Big P going for that final judgment steal, but maybe you just look for the damage output. You look to bring them low and then take the fight right after the fire giant. But that situation has now become worse as we start going towards this defense around the Phoenix. There's going to be the Curse Dog. There is going to be the pull. There's going to be the cleanse. Now Sobek taking so much damage, but so is everybody else. There's Osiris. Osiris gonna stun out too. Rogue barely alive. Then Dolph gonna pick up that one. That's gonna be a Wheelix down, and you're gonna go ahead and get that jungler, and you're gonna delay this Phoenix push. That's all you need to really do in this situation. But the Wingers are making great calls to go ahead, wipe the farm off the map, get all of that, maybe push up this mid wave, but they also want to catch that left lane wave that is being pressured on the side of Hell's Minion, or for the side of Hell's Minions, I should say. But that was a pretty good defense. What do you think?
I think it was a great defense. I just wish Hell's Minions would do it everywhere. Like, that communication that they have on Phoenix sieges, on tower sieges that they're getting sieged under is spectacular. If they do it the rest of the game, I don't think Wingers would be in this spot right now. Because they had the first blood on Scylla, but now Scylla is running rampant free casting.
Oh no. Osiris might be in trouble. Does avoid the pluck. He should be okay now. Now Cerberus. Oh, there is the Curse Dog, but Chernobog basically gets that little bit of a kill. And there it is. Now that's the go button here for this Sobek. Sobek gonna pluck that Cerberus. Cerberus is gonna be targeted down and bursted down. Skipper gonna get that double kill. He's gonna go on a rampage. And this is where things are dire. They need to be careful. I mean, you can't... That's sloppy. There's no other way to put it. That's just sloppy. Osiris has the least mobility out of your squad. You can't be looking to get picked out like that, especially when you don't have bees. What you got is that Heavenly Wings. There goes Rogue. Rogue wants to go in. He wants to find that Thoth. Thoth does dash out. Evade and punish is good. Sobek gonna go straight into it. Look for the pluck. There is the Fenrir. Fenrir gonna pick up the Sobek. Sobek gonna go on beads. Final Judgment going to be used. Find nobody, but it doesn't matter. Kyber able to pick up this support. And there is Rogue. Rogue is low, but again, the hell healing going to be true. But not if you move too much. You gotta get hit by it, you know?
Yeah. I think they played it right. They got the Osiris pick. No Emperor's armor, so it's not as fast as shooting as it used to be. They only had 3 players on that Phoenix defense. I wish they would have played and just let the Osiris die at that point. He was too far gone. They blew him up, but they stayed to try to help him a little too long. They ended up dying for it, or another person ended up dying for it. Both your tanks died, so your Fenrir had to be the tanks. There's no one to really defend your Phoenix at that point because no one can step up, eat the Apollo, eat the Chernobog damage, eat the Scylla damage. Your Fenrir is not going to be able to do it. And he won't be able to escape because there's a freaking Wheelix on the other side.
Yeah, Osiris needs more protections, dude. Like, he's got a Stone of Gaia, and he's got a Relic Dagger. He sold the Toxic Blade, just a heads up.
I wish he would have stuck with the Toxic Blade.
But he just needs physical prots. I mean, the guy's got kin size now. No wonder Osiris is just dying. That's all health. It's a lot of health. And no procs. Like, the Emperor's armor is your source of prots. That's just not going to be enough.
Anything. He needs almost anything at this point to help him out. He might need he might need the old shell to come back real quick to block some autos for him.
Yeah, this is going to be detrimental to their ability to really frontline some of that damage. This Fire Giant is going to be EFG, so this is going to be pretty significant. Now, again, I feel afraid of saying 99% now because of what happened down in Game 1. If you didn't get to see that, go back, watch it. But nonetheless... Look, we saw Hell's Minions against the wall before, and they were able to pull it off. I don't want to discount them from doing it again. And we need to be aware of that possibility. Rogue wants to be aggressive, going to go in onto this Osiris. Osiris going to be okay for now. They're positioning aggressively around this Fire Giant. Chernobog really far back, however. One concern. There is going to be the damage from the Thoth. It's pretty true, but again, Hell gonna keep on healing things up. They're rotating towards this Fenrir. Fenrir needs to be careful because if he gets ulted, it might be a problem. They're gonna chase him down. They're actually chasing down Fenrir. Fenrir waited too long to leap. Ooh, the ult did not come out of Rogue. they're dedicating so much. I'm a monster is being used. Ragnarok is the response. And Fenrir is as good as dead, however. His team, nowhere to be found. That's going to be it. What?
I wish the Apollo would have ulted and the red team pick up that fire giant because they went on a mission to kill this Fenrir that they didn't have to kill. But they also stopped the Apollo from split pushing left lane. So that was a lot accomplished in a short amount of time. I don't like them chasing that kill for an eternity, but it accomplished a lot of check marks they needed to do to get this fire giant.
I just don't like how Hell's Minion didn't even try to help your boy. Fenrir out there buying so much time, and they're just like, all right, we're not going to do FG. We're not going to do any objectives. We're just going to chill now. And there is the I'm a monster to secure. Final judgment not going to be enough. There is Cerberus. Cerberus going to get bursted down a little bit. There is a Wheelix. A Wheelix pulling the Osiris. Osiris going down as well as Kitten's Panda. Osiris not dead quite yet. There it is. I was a little early. Double kill here for Skipper. He's going to go unstoppable now. And he wants more. He's going for that Thoth as well. There is a nice Aegis. Beats the Crush. But Thoth is dead. That's going to be a triple kill here for Skipper. He wants to put an exclamation point onto this game. It's Apollo by himself with this Fenrir defending against 5. I'm not sure what their odds are, but it has to be 0.1%. That Titan doesn't exist. Game 2 is over. The Hell's Minions got the door closed on them, and the Wingers want to take this one away. They might want to do the reverse sweep here. What are some adjustments you want to see for them in Game 3?
Take this Scylla, take this Chernobog away is what I would try to do against this team. Because Skipper looked really comfortable in that Chernobog. He got away from so much just by hitting 4 or 3. You cannot let that happen again. Their Hell looked clean as well, but their Scylla was hitting a lot of crazy on the monsters. Skipper, I think you want to just put Kyber on something that can run over Skipper. Or put something on your mid lane to run over Cynic. Make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to see them don't put Osiris in the support lane. All right. And that has nothing to do with how Atomic played it. Osiris just doesn't peel. All right. A lot of time, Atomic trying to go in there deep, trying to go and create space as a solo laner, but that's not really going to be his job. I like the theory crafting behind it where you ult the Hell doesn't heal anymore, or you ult anybody and now they don't heal off the Hell. But then you have to have more damage to follow that up, and that just was not the case. I want to see a little bit more adjusted toward more traditional comp. Maybe you take the Hell away. Maybe the Scylla's not as big of an issue. Maybe you take the Scylla away, and now you can do things with that. But honestly, this was just a tough game there for Hell's Minions. We are going to conclude this with a tantalizing Game 3. So we're going to toss it to a short break. We'll be right back. Stick with us, and we'll be back with some Game 3 Smite action. Welcome back, Smite fans. We are here for the exciting conclusion of this tantalizing and absolutely ravishing set that we had. 1-1 stands the score. We got one exciting for Game 1 and one exciting Game 2. And now we're ready for an exciting Game 3. This is Lucio Horde, joined by Son of Two Dog. How you doing, man? What do you expect here for Game 3 picking bands?
I expect Hell Minions to try to drive something a little bit more early. Let's try to run it down. Because they've been on a back foot both games. And if it wasn't for bad play at a Titan, they would not be here in a Game 3. So let's see if they can draft something a little earlier, put their team ahead. And Wingers, just keep doing what you're doing, because if it wasn't for that one bad Titan fight, it would be a 2-0 right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, no, we can't. I think that sells the story a little bit short here for Hell's Minions. There have been times when they were in the lead, and if it wasn't for them making a slight mistake, the Wingers might have been the one, a 2-0. That's just the story of Smite. At the end of the day, they lost Game 1, and they won Game 2 for the Wingers, and then the Hell's Minions, they won Game 1 and lost Game 2. Now the question is whether or not either team can adjust enough to make this a solid Game 3 victory over the other. And it's all going to start here at the bans phase, though the bans are relatively the same. Odin, Athena, Tiamat on the side of Hell's Minions going to be banned out. Artio and Artemis going to be banned out by the Wingers. They're going to go ahead and wait a little bit for that third ban slot. Do you want either team here, like, to prioritize, like, maybe the Hell or the Scylla? Well, do you think any of those are a particular concern, or do you kind of just say, hey, whoever gets them gets them?
I think Hell's minions really should prioritize their namesake Hell's minions. Wingers, I think right now are hesitating because they were trying to see if they were going to let a Persephone or Hell
I
through.
awake from the
But I like the
darkness.
ROM
Hello,
ban. Give
everybody.
Kyber something else because he looked pretty good on that ROM game 1. Hell minions win Hell. I think that's a pretty good pick right there for them.
Yeah.
None will flee my
Yeah, now Persephone and Cerberus going to be the pickups there. The Persephone concerns me a little bit because Hell can cleanse that ult, and then what? That feels bad. Nonetheless, this Cerberus is gonna do well into the Hell. We saw how it went last game. The Cerberus didn't do too shabby on the side of Hell's minions, but a Geb pickup as well means double cleanse. That has to be a little bit of a concern here for the wingers that now rely on two forms of CC ult, essentially.
I don't think it's as bad if they because there's still 3 more picks they can go. They can go like an Ares, which is even more CC. You can only cleanse so much. You can only bead so much. If they also go Chiron, I would be a little worried. But for whatever reason, they're still hovering this Amaterasu, which is making me worry because then it's going jungle or solo, and you can really hard pressure that Amaterasu. But
And we'll have to see what they pick out there. I don't think Amaterasu is gonna be the pickup for sure, but definitely gonna be interesting what they decide. They're gonna go ahead and pick up this Hachiman, and I'm a Hachiman stan. I think Hachiman's always good. I don't think he's ever bad. He's just sometimes worse, but not bad. And I think Hachiman's a pretty good pickup here. Has a lot of tools, but this Sobek gonna be picked up on the winger side. Which of these top three do you prefer?
I prefer the Persephone Serb Sobek because Sobek, if you pair it with a good ADC, that's pressure in dual lane. Serb, if it's going against Hell, that's pressure in the solo lane. Persephone Hell, the matchup I think is going to be a clash. It's whoever's the better Hell or Persephone player. But as you saw last game, Cynic did a lot more than the Thoth did. So I want to see Hell's here get some early aggression. Like this Osiris pickup now, it's making me worry about this Hell minions draft. There's a lot of pressure on the wingers, not a lot on Hells except outside of the Hell.
Well, look, this is the draft that they kind of stole the idea from Hell's minions, right? Cerberus and Osiris on the same team against a Hell. The question is, can they execute it better than Hell's minions did, right? And that's going to be a little bit of concern because you not only have to get through Hell's healing, you have to now go through the Geb shield in addition to that, and that might be something that's a lot harder for them to execute on. And this Hachiman also going to be pretty elusive again with that mounted archery, is able to get through a lot of stuff, has that CC immunity as well. One of the big concerns that I'm having right now is that you have a lot of good setup ultimates or setup abilities between the Sylvek Pluck, the Cerberus ult, Persephone ult, but not a lot of burst behind that outside of Persephone. And that, for me, is always going to be a little bit of a concern.
I think the Hunter's still available for the wingers. I don't know what they're going to pick here, but that other team on the other side, Gab doesn't get a lot of pressure. Bakasur needs the farm to get to late game. Hell's still the only pressure. And there's 3 anti-heals on the other side. Osiris, Sobek, Serb. Persephone's probably gonna go Divine. There's a lot of anti-heal. And I don't think Geb Shield can help Hell enough against all that anti-heal right now.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a concern. Really, for me, what will matter the most is what they pick out here in this in essentially the solo or mid, right? Because they still get the choice between one or the other for Hell's minions. Are they gonna pick up a solo that can maybe look for that pressure, or are they gonna pick up a mid laner that can look for that pressure? I'm thinking this Raijin is up, and look at that. As I say it, man, look at that. I got it locked. The script has been written. But it is gonna be this Raijin, and that's actually exactly where I wanted to see them turn to. Raijin has a decent matchup in the Persephone and has a lot of early pressure as well. Will open up the door for Bakasur to go wild.
I like the Raijin pickup. That allows you to have pressure in 2 lanes, but Serb Hell is like an even lane. So I want them to see if they can get this Hell ahead. Pressure that blue buff with your mid laner. Chiron picked up. I think that's a great pick because now if you're dive goes too far, you can still range arrows from 70 units away plus. So, and Persephone can hit her ult from 70 units plus. This is a great idea draft from wingers. They've been showing that they can communicate and do all their stuff together. Now the initiation part for Hell's minions is a Gebel. And if your Geb, he's been behind in every game. If he gets behind again, I don't see a lot of pushback potential from Hell's minions.
Now, that being said, I will say that it's a lot harder to cleanse a Cataclysm than a lot of other things. Okay, Cerberus ult, you can have that little bit of reaction to. Persephone ult, you can have a reaction to. Cataclysm, a lot harder to react to. And that's going to actually be a big impact. Bakasur is also one of the better gods to chase down a Chiron. And the amount of damage he can do so quickly could be absolutely devastating. Raijin gonna have an easier time bursting down like a Cerberus or a Sobek than most gods. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this plays out. It's all gonna come down to execution, and Hell's minions really have to execute on the fact that they have a lot of damage output, like a ridiculous amount of damage output between Bakasur, Hachiman, and Raijin. Um, but we'll have to see what happens when we get into game. We are gonna have to go ahead and take a little bit of a break because of the fact that they have to reset the lobby. But we'll be right back with this game 3, so stick with us. Welcome back. We are finally in the game. 15 seconds in. We're going to look at this nice little red buff. Again, it's going to be Lucio Horde here at Chair 1, joined by Son of Two Dog. And we're in for an exciting game 3. We didn't talk too much about which composition you favored the most. So I'll give you a little bit of a window of opportunity to talk about that now.
I like the wingers draft because if you get behind on Hell's minions, I don't see a lot of comeback potential, except like Baka going off in a team fight. But wingers, if they get behind, they still have 2 other tanks, or they have 1 tank. Like they have 3 different roles that can be a tank. Kyber gets plucked in. Chiron hits the aim strike.
Ooh, that had to be an early shell. Master for shot really did put out a lot of damage. But hey, look, you're not dead. I feel like that's better than losing out on that shell, I guess. I mean, it's important to note here that using those relics early, while kind of devastating, not the end of the world. Now that Sobek does have meditation cloak, so it's gonna make it harder to kill them on the flip side. But it's not the end of the world, right? You got tainted steels coming out from both Hell and Cerberus. It's gonna be interesting to see how those two match up in that lane. This is honestly, I want to see this Bakasura go wild. If you're gonna pick a guy like Bakasura, you better go nuts with it. That's just my opinion. If you're gonna go and pick something that's a little off meta, it's gotta go crazy.
I agree with you. I think Bakasura, if you don't give us a show, then I'm gonna be disappointed. Because Bakasura I don't see that often. I would love to see that god go off, because it may inspire a lot of other people in this league to go Bakasura. And I would hate that now thinking about it as the ADC.
Yeah, Bakasura is not a lot of fun to play against now. We do see a little early gank attempt, but on the other side, Kyber needs to be careful. Kyber taking quite a bit of damage, gonna go straight into that training exercise, masterful shot, gonna follow it up, and Kyber taking so much poke. This Chiron and Sobek outputting so much pressure. Now the blue needs to go on hand here for Hell. Hell really needs this blue more than most solo laners. Are they able to secure it? And that does not look to be the case at all. It's going to be a fight now, and there's no mana on Hell right now. That's just gonna be what it is. It's really unfortunate, but Hell really does need that blue buff early. And being deprived of it means that Camp Panda really shouldn't be doing too much in the solo lane.
I like the purple invade and blue invade, and in a pluck by Sobek, Chiron's dashing in. Geb shield popped on to the Kyber. Kyber keeps getting plucked by the Sobek. I'm kind of worried about that because that might transition to the late game, and I would not want to be plucked out of position. I mean, he's glad that he's Hachimon getting plucked out of position, but at the end of the day, this is not looking good. Like 2 side lanes getting invaded. Your Bakasura is now getting a little bit behind. Cerberus is level 5 to your Hell's level 4. I mean, your mid lane got a 1 level lead, but after Persephone cleared that wave, that's a nil lead. So
yeah, but I mean, hey, look, Raijin even having a half level lead is pretty good because Raijin, one of the better gods with a lead, can really output crazy amounts of damage and crazy amounts of pressure. Not gonna do so right now, however. And it's like you said, it's pretty not good. So it would be pretty bad to lose pressure on both side lanes at the same time. You just gotta be careful with it. And ooh, missing all of those abilities there really gonna hurt your chances of clearing the wave and outputting the damage. It was one of those situations, you know. Go next, symbolize that. Go for your next rotation of abilities. But and then on this side, on the duo side, Kyber being as focused as he is, now he still has beads available, so he's been doing a good job on holding on to those beads, despite the pressure that GA Seraph has put onto him. But just gotta be a little careful with losing all of this pressure. Things might not go so hot, but I say that, and meanwhile, Cerberus catching the hands.
I think this Hell's getting a lot of pressure here. I mean, the Osiris is still going for an invade here. I think you just need to back out. Your Serb is not in a healthy position to help you.
Whoa.
If Baka gets this kill, it's gonna be massive. Raijin with a rotation. They're looking onto the Osiris.
Think you look for that blue buff invade, blue buff coming right up. That is exactly what you want to see if you're either of these. There is the ultimates are going to be used in turn to each other. And I would have preferred to see Raijin just go ahead and try to proc that with Percussive Storm as opposed to his Taiko drums. Meanwhile, on the other side, you lose your purple buff. But, hey, look, I won't be real. Your name is Hell's Minions. Clearly, you're going to focus the solo side because this is where you have the most comfort. This is where you pick this god that you really put on in that player's hand who really wants to run the game with it. Meanwhile, you pick Hachiman to kind of just stall out the lane, to be honest.
Is Hell Minions also Bakasura Minions? I mean, if
Could
it's the
be.
name, they got
Could-
both sides of the puzzle. As they do the
do.
jogger here on the dual lane, I like this. They're putting a lot of emphasis on this dual lane pressure. If they're going to pick a Geb, run it down their face. If they're going to pick a Hachi, run it down their face. As you see that a lot. Serb, not really losing anything for that blue buff invades. He just loses the level that he has. Cynic now has the level over Raijin because of that rotation from Raijin earlier. Bakasura coming in the backside.
They are looking for this red buff. Red buff gonna be dropped in favor of the wingers. And there is going to be the Grasp of Death, but it's not nearly enough damage. Geb makes a slight rotation over. You know, you get the red buff invade off, but you use your ultimate for it. Now, Bakasura did end up dropping his Regurgitate as well. Does not end all be all. They decided to let this Gorp dap through, and I'm honestly surprised about that. Knowing how low this Osiris was in doing that, I don't know if I would have just let that go for free, but that ended up being the call, and it is what it is. We rotate back to mid, and Cynic again developing that level lead on the other side. Hell, bringing the hands again, and that's what you want to see. It's why you picked this guy.
I think the Serb is playing the matchup pretty well. I think Hell should have went past the killing dual lane. That's not what you want to see on your one level lead hunter against Hachi and Geb. They were doing really well until that Gorp pull. I think going for that Gorp pull was smart. The other side, I don't know why they didn't pressure. They only lost Regurgitate. Persephone didn't have ult, so it was a really easy engage, in my opinion, to go on that. As solo lane's getting ganked, Serb jumps in place.
Gotta jump out though, because he ended up being the one tanking that tower. Maybe if it was the Hell taking that tower, it would have been something that could have looked for more of an engage. But hey, look, you pulled Cerberus ultimate. You're pretty happy with that. You're gonna go ahead and heal up the Bakasura as well. That's pretty nice. Now this ward is gonna go ahead and give timer here for the wingers, so they can come back for it later on. But still, good defense, good aggression, good disengage. That's kind of what you want to see. Raijin here gonna flex his muscles. Got to be careful though of that Sobek, who's gonna go ahead and look for a nice little pluck. But Geb is there, so Geb should keep him relatively safe. Ooh, Sobek misses the pluck. The Grasp of Death has been used. It's gonna be used on Geb, but Geb I don't think cares. Geb gonna go ahead and use that shield. Now he's gonna get pressured out by more damage. Bakasura trying to find the damage to peel off, but Raijin's the one that does it. Not sure what old Bakasura was doing, to be honest. Bakasura kind of just showed up and then said, you know what? I'm not going to engage at all. Instead, I'm going to back away. Now the pressure is going to be put onto this Hachiman. Got to be careful. Got to be concerned a little bit. Osiris seeing that the Bakasura is here, maybe not as comfortable trying to get off an invade or anything like that. But Hachiman having to play so far back in the tower is going to be to the favor of the wingers.
I honestly think wingers, Skipper, he's going now. He's been going all game the oboe, right? But now he's going crit straight after oboe. I don't know how it's going to work like the last build, but he's been putting out a lot of damage with the oboe in his build. So I'm excited to see how it's going to work.
Yeah, me as well. Now, this is going to be a weird rotation. It's going to lose a lot of farm here for the mid lane and the jungle. The mid lane now 2 levels behind on the side of Hell's minions. Cynic making a slight rotation over, realizing that, hey, wait, where's my lane partner at? Sobek looking around, trying to spot out, see if he can get a nice pluck. It's not going to happen. Instead, everybody's going to disengage. But that was a weird rotation to start with. Like, kind of have to rotate with a little bit more purpose, a little bit more kick in your step, I think.
I think Hell's Minions is in a little bit of a hurried state here. They've been losing both games early on. They have had some leads, but then they'll turn around and right around and throw it back to the other side. As I'm saying this, Stygian Torment's out on Hell. She cleanses it. I think red team's gonna. The wingers are gonna look for this blue buff invade.
Once more, this is gonna be a dangerous situation. Blue buff is gonna go down. I'm not sure in favor of who. Oh no, the Sobek being here might be the doom of this Hell. Hell gonna have to output as much damage as you can. Raijin is here. Raijin now looking for the damage. It's not gonna be enough. Raijin gonna now looking for those Osiris. Osiris is gonna ult away. There is the Grasp of Death. It comes in. It finds everybody, and that is gonna be enough to get the disengage that the wingers need, and the blue buff invade goes in their favor, and they pick up a kill onto Kitten's Panda. That overall, good plays. And Chiron's going for the red buff invade. That's exactly what you want to see if you're a wingers fan.
Wingers are just they keep checking boxes off. They keep invading, getting levels and levels ahead. Raijin keeps rotating before the middle wave is cleared, so Persephone gets one extra wave per every rotation Raijin makes, because then he just follows him to another lane, and his Grasp of Death reaches the entire map as long as there's a line of sight. And you saw that was used to its full potential there. And not getting a kill on Osiris there, I think, was a real detriment into that fight.
Yeah, you kind of wanted to come away with something, considering how much the wingers put into that little blue buff invade. You really wanted to come away with some sort of pressure, some sort of kill. In fact, I'm a little surprised that you just don't, as Hell's minions, make a call to go for that Gold Fury, knowing how many people are on that right side, knowing how many ultimates they had to use. Now a little bit too late in order to do that. And something weird here is going to be that Kitten's Panda is half building 2 items. I assume that's a Tyrannical Plate and quite possibly a Breastplate of Valor. So a little weird build path. Why do you think the reasoning is for that?
I mean, I sometimes do it. I forget to build an item, and then I realize on tier 2 that I need to build that item. Usually I finish the item, but if he needs it now, I think that's a great start, because Serp might have a little bit harder time clearing the waves. If you go Tyrannical, Serb might have a little harder time. It may, I don't know if it works on blue buffs.
Ooh, here's the engagement. Now you're looking for a fight. Ooh, there's the Stygian Torment. Stygian Torment going to go ahead and put Bakasur back where he belongs. And there is going to be the blink. Big P going to pick up Cynic, however. Is going to keep on chasing it down. That's a big Thunder Crash. He wants more. And on the other end, Kyber picks up the solo kill. That's exactly what you want to see here. As Hell's minions, GA Seraph in a tough situation. Going to have to find a way to pluck out. And that's exactly what he's going to do. They're going to go ahead and look towards this tier 1 on the solo side. And it's going to go down. First tower of the game in favor of Hell's minions. And they're going to go straight away towards this Pyro side Scorp. So I guess there's a reason why we don't call it Porp. That's a weird name. Forp, I think, is better than Porp. Or should we call it Porp for the meme?
I think we're going to call it Porp. Porp, I don't think will even become a good meme. Sorry.
I don't know, man. I think that's a Porpy attitude. That's definitely a Pyromancer's side Scorpion attitude. You know, that's not a Chad Gorp. I don't know.
Porp is definitely better.
There's
no porpoise for the other one.
This is just like the Sun Wukong not being the Monkey King. It upsets me. It irritates me. It's just not true that Sun Wukong is not the Monkey King. He will always be the Monkey King. It's in the name. It's just what it is. But nonetheless, back to the game. Hell's minions gathering a lead. Not even that, actually. I misspoke. I was going to say they're gathering a lead. They're 500 gold down. 600-ish. They got to look towards one of these objectives.
I like what they did last fight, though. They did the bait on the rotation, and Cynic been following that Raijin in every fight. This time, him and the support sat there, waited behind a wall. Cynic walked right into their grasp and died. They need to keep doing that, bait Cynic into that bad rotation, and catching him out before he can even react. Because if you give Persephone time to react, that's a lot of damage going your way, and she might be able to 1v2 you.
Oh, and I love this. I love this from the Hell's Minions. This is a great adjustment. That they're the ones actually pressuring the objective as opposed to allowing the wingers to get such a good position on an objective and then fighting into that good positioning. Now they, as I say that, they give up the positioning. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. We're back in it. They're gonna go ahead and start it up. They're gonna pull the beads off of this Raijin. The thing did not come in. The cleanse did not come in fast enough. The wingers do get the Gold Fury. Again, I just don't get it. I literally do not understand, but it doesn't matter. Grasp of Death is used. Tycho drums are being used, and the damage is out there. There is Bagasur. Bagasur wants to get a kill. Geb giving him the shield, maybe giving him the time. It's not going to be enough time, but it's going to be a little bit of a, man, it's going to be a massacre, a bloodbath here as Hell's minions want to keep pushing it down. They're going to heal up as well. It's just going to be Cynic and the Cerberus here defending this tower, and Hell wants more. Hell wants to eat, wants to feast, barely gets away, and that's gonna be enough of this engagement. Gonna back away, but still, I don't get it. Why you give out the Gold Fury for free? That I
think I don't think they had wards on the Gold Fury. They have a Sentry ward on it now, but before, like, they were pressuring it. I think they forgot to drop a ward on Gold Fury, gave up all that pressure, and when they saw the Serb Osiris on the Raijin, they must not have clued in that they're zoning for this Gold Fury. I mean, I love the reaction. As soon as they found out they were on the Gold Fury, they went for the fight. They got the 3 kills. They may have lost 1, but 3 for 1, I think is worth it, especially if you get this Pyromancer. I think it evens the gold out that you lost with the Gold Fury. I don't like this Osiris challenging here. Osiris is challenging.
Ooh, Osiris is dead. Stygian Torment going to be used as well as Grasp of Death. If this is Hell's minions, this is their fight. You heal up, you keep on going. They just used 2 of the biggest ultimates and they did not really accomplish much with it. That's the big part about it. And it seems like the call might be to turn towards this mid tower. Maybe push that down, maybe then turn to a Fire Giant. I don't know. But that's what I would do. You know, those are 2 big ultimates not ready for this next fight.
They have Hell. They could have healed up, pulled the Fire Giant, because there's nothing they can really counter with it except a Sobek plug. Like, Grasping Death was dead. I mean, gone. I don't know why they're pressuring this tier 2 when they could just be going for a Fire Giant. There's a lot of things they could be doing right now.
Ooh, good Raiju proc, though, on the Chiron. Going to push that between Cynic and the ADC as well. But yeah, it seems like we're gonna go ahead and disengage after that. Hell's minions are like satisfied with getting a 300 gold lead. They're just not gonna go pressure out this Fire Giant quite yet. Don't hate the call. I don't know if the damage is quite online for them to successfully pull that Fire Giant, but I would have preferred to see them at least pressure it, put up some nice wards and all those things, but that's not what's gonna happen.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it was a safe call to go for that and then pressure the tier 2. Maybe they overstep. You get a free kill. Maybe Persephone accidentally jumps into you. There's a lot of things you could do on that tier 2. But I still would have loved to see them pressure that Fire Giant. You got Hell. Hell can keep you healed forever. You got Kensai's done with Hachiman. There's a lot of things you could have done on that Fire Giant. But at the end of the day, taking a safe call is a good call.
Sometimes. Can't win the game by being safe. You got to take a risk eventually. Even if it's a small one. Got to take it. But nonetheless, we are going to start approaching this, basically this Fire Giant dance, I would assume, is we're going to go maybe very slow. It's going to be like a waltz. Maybe we'll move into some jazz and then some salsa later on. Just really depends on what the pace is going to be for these 2 teams. And eventually there'll be a mosh pit. We already know. That's just how these games have gone. So I really want to see Hell's Minions really take the forefront of like pushing up on this Fire Giant. They shouldn't be afraid of anything that the wingers can bring out. Oh, you use Stygian Torment? Cleanse. You use Grasp of Death after that? Now I beads. There should be some answers to it. So I don't know. I just really don't like how every single game in this set, Hell's Minions has given up pressure on every objective.
This time, I think they're going to be the ones doing the pressure, or they better do it because they got Geb. They can pressure out a lot. They got a lot of sustain on a objective. If they need to, they can heal their way out of a Fire Giant ring. They can do a lot of things. I also think on the reverse side, the wingers are having a lot of problems with what they've been using the last few games, which is Hell. I think they should definitely try to find a way to kill this Hell as fast as possible. They got the Osiris, they got the Serb, they got the Sobek. Find a way to take this Hell out of the game and make it happen.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tough to do that against a Hell that has beads and a horrific emblem as well. Chiron needs to be careful. He's standing right on top of a ward. It looks like it's going to be a mid lane call for this. I don't know, man. We're giving up a lot of pressure. It's going to be an Oni Fury call for the wingers. They're going to give up Fire Giant pressure. If Bakasura spots this out, I really want them to press the go button on this Fire Giant or look for a pick on the Cerberus. But it's got to be one or the other. You're giving up the Oni Fury for free, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Oni Fury does go down. Meanwhile, Fire Giant not started up, Cerberus not dead. This just seems like a great tactic there by the wingers. They're delaying the Fire Giant pull. They're gonna go ahead and look for the burst. It's gonna be enough. Finally, Uncle Fable goes down. Now you take a 5v4 fight. If I'm the Hell's Minions, just take it. You know that these people come in a little bit low. Sobek sitting in front of you, 75% down. This might be the go button here for Hell's Minions. They did start healing up. Thanks to a nice heal from Hell. They're going to look for this Osiris. Osiris going to be spotted out. He's going to have to ult away. He ults away into, I believe, Hachiman. Sobek, on the other hand, getting bursted down by this Hell. And there goes the Tycho Drums. Tycho Drums is going to be enough, and now Big P is on a rampage. He wants to keep on the pain train going as they run into Sobek. And Sobek going to have to pluck away, but it is going to be not enough as the kill is going to go to Kyber. Now he's going to go on a rampage. He gets the kills on Skipper. Transitions now the killing, the support. Fire Giant finally going to be picked up, and that's exactly the type of plays you want to see from Hell's Minions at this point in the game.
I like that play by Hell Minions. I wish they would have went in a little faster, but that was a great play. They took the 5v4. They won it. On the reverse side, the wingers probably should have waited for the Oni waves to push up, so someone had to go deal with it. And then you lost all three of your tanks. Your two carries are now trying to farm up. All XP is going down, 3 levels down. Osiris is 3 levels down to Baka. That's not a good sign. You're a level down on Sobek. Golds, it's 1k and 1.5k gold. Not the end of the world, but they're about to lose a lot of tower. They're about to lose all their tier 2 towers.
Yeah, because the siege on this comp should be pretty significant. Hell gonna be able to again sustain out her team. Hachiman has pretty safe and reliable poke, has really good ways of proccing attack speed. And now if I'm Hell, I'm taking this 1v1 against the Cerberus. Yeah, he's a level up, but I have EFG. What he got? He's got
his passive. He can heal up from your Fire Giant. He's got no team to follow him up. So I think it's a great call to run away at that point. I think the red team needs to just back up, play towers. Then again, the blue team is really separated. Hell's Minions is really separated right now, so they can do a lot right now. But
yeah, now there is going to be this 2-man grouping on the left side now, so maybe not as comfortable. But they need to be careful on how they try to engage here, because it's not really like a big advantage, especially if Cerberus gets there quick enough. Cerberus has now arrived. The Grasp of Death across the world. Not going to connect on much except this Hachiman. Hachiman standing his ground, has to beat, however. That's kind of a win, but you should be able to throw your bodies at this tier 2, knowing that you have the ult advantage.
I'd like to call, but if the wingers had more information, they would have known that it was a go button. It was going to be a 4v5. That was their best chance to win. Now it's going to be a 5v5 under a tier 2 when they have Fire Giant. All right, it's going to be I think this is a go button. Bakasura's not here. He's in mid lane. But they're not pressing the gas.
I think you got to wait for Persephone ult in this situation. I will say that, because that is really your biggest go button right now, and that's what you got to wait for in order to really get the most of it. Persephone ult is up now. Cyrus is going to go chase down that Bakasura. Bakasura is going to finally leave that tier 1 down, and that's going to be the go button in turn for the Hell's Minions. There's a Stygian Torment. There's a Grasp of Death. They use both, and there's a Cataclysm. Stuns out. Tycho Drums is going to be used. Tycho Drums not going to be enough to kill the Cerberus. Things are looking quite dire here for the wingers. They took the poke, and Hell is on the other side, so the heals are going to be true. There is going to be nice little dashes. Hachiman just hovering around on this little side of the map. Meanwhile, Bakasura in this mid lane going to clear out those mid minions. Sobek does pluck, but it's only gonna beat his Geb. Geb gonna be cleansed by the Hell. Hell gonna keep on healing up. This tower is taking way too long. Get this done. Regurgitate gonna be used by the Bakasura. You gonna pick it up. They said, forget the tower. We're gonna go ahead and wipe the team. At least 3 of you, that's for sure. Smart gonna pick up a double kill while Big P robs him of the triple. Not really. I'm just kidding. They didn't rob him. He just secured the kill, and he's gonna pick up basically a delayed double. Gonna go unstoppable. They're gonna look maybe to end here. They can pick up maybe this Chiron. Not gonna be in the cards, but maybe this Titan is. The end call has been made. We make our way into the throne room. Chiron getting bursted out, has to use Centaurus. Centaurus not gonna find any targets. That's gonna be a deicide. 5 seconds, not gonna be soon enough for Seraph to try to stop the end of the game. And despite a hard-fought game, the victory comes out for Hell's Minions. They bring it back at the end. Son of Two Dog, break it down for me.
At the very end, that last tier 2 fight, I think they just overstayed. They were buying a lot of time on that fire giant. They could have just backed out, called it a win. They ate it a lot of time. They just stayed, and Hell was like, we got fire giant and we got Hell. There's a lot of healing there. They're back, all 5 back to full health. Bakasura came from mid lane behind them. There was 3 people in tower. 2 people were back. When the 2 people came back, their team was dead. And they're just standing in no man's land and they're about to die.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a good realization. It's funny because in game 2, it was the problem for Hell's Minions on how do you deal with the Hell who's helping maintain this siege, essentially, right? This perpetual siege. Oh, we poked it a little bit. Oh, we took a little bit of damage. We got back away. Now we're going to heal. We're going to do it again. But you guys are taking damage. It becomes a war of attrition that you just don't win because you don't have a healer on your side of the map. That makes it a really hard thing to deal with. And I think you pointed out correctly. I think the wingers should have been satisfied with kind of delaying it as long as they did and then pull back towards that Phoenix and do it again. Maybe even pick up a few kills at that point. But nonetheless, they closed this one out, and I think a lot of props have to go down to the backline, especially in game 3, and maybe also to Atomic Hawk in this game. Look at that. That is a perfect score line there for that backline, right? It's 508 706 0012. Come on, that's it.
He definitely did his job as Geb. He was like, no one dying on my watch. And then he has a Hell to help him out. Your solo and your support are like, we're going to keep you guys alive. Just go and do instinct stuff, and we're going to keep you alive. And you saw at the end of the day, they did that. I think wingers, they should come out with that high head. They played their butts off for what they did. This is a team that had a lot of roster switches before the season even started. So the chemistry there, they're almost there.
They're almost there, and then we'll see how this team progresses. Definitely was a hard-fought set from both teams. Just so happened that there can only be one victor, and the victor today is going to be Hell's Minions. Now, we're not done quite yet. We're going to go toss it to a break, and then we'll have an interview from one of Hell's Minions. So, stick with us. We'll bring that interview in, and then we'll close it out. But until then, we'll take a small break. All right, welcome back. We finally are back, ready to conclude this. But before we do, we have an interview with the number 1 Hell Minion. Really, honestly, I think that goes without saying. Miyuki, Ken's Panda in game. How you doing, man?
I feel great. Really good matches, and to be fair, those matches are kind of like what our team is known for, is drawing out the matches, and literally 40 minutes later, we either lose or we win.
So tell me about game 1 when all 3 of your Phoenixes were down. And
Okay.
when all 3 of your Phoenixes were down and you killed everybody on the other team, how was your team?
So we noticed that obviously it's our first game of the season, and we were not all there. It was kind of like a communication aspect that wasn't there. But we realized that our defense was kind of really, really good. So when we got the entire deicide, or the deicide that happened, we were all screaming, go mid, we need to get this. And they're like, but what about minions? There's minions on both lanes. And we were just like, don't worry about it. As long as we have our ADC, we'll be fine. And if you were if you saw, Kyber was actually pretty far behind us, but we just committed to it. And we're just glad that Titan didn't die to minions.
That was a great call indeed. And then game 3, was Hell a prioritizing pick for you guys to take away from them because of game 2?
So
Well,
it's kind of more of a I'm the only Hell player, so it was more so like I saw that Hell pick, I was like, guys, game 3, I'm picking her. I'm gonna show them what's up. And it I don't want to say it was a prioritized pick. It was more so, what are you comfortable with? And I was like, I guess I'll go Hell. You know, you guys know me for Hell. So then we did that. And as soon as we saw Serb and Osiris, I was like, I'm gonna get bullied. And throughout the game, they kept stealing my blue. 4 people kept going on my blue buff.
4 people did love taking your blue buff. You have any other questions or concerns, Lucio?
So like, one question or concern: how did it feel to get the hell against you in game 2?
Dude, as soon as I saw the Hell, I was like, it's over. I'm not gonna win this lane. Obviously, because everybody knows me as the Hell main. I know what she's capable of. And it's like, even if I get first blood, doesn't matter. She has the sustain. She can literally come in, box me, and then leave and just laugh in my face and be like, I just did that.
Yeah, that would actually be one of the things that we noticed, at least on the casting desk. Both games, both teams couldn't really deal with the war of attrition that happened around towers. It's like,
Mhm.
oh wow, we won, but they're full health again. What happened?
I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but I ended up getting Shogun's Kasari instead of Genji's, and that was a total misclick. But I was telling my team, the game's just bugged. Nothing, not my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually brings me to the last final concluding question. Do you have any shout outs, anything that you really want to talk about real quick as we close things out for tonight?
Um, as far as everything, I'm glad to be part of the league. This is a really good league. The community is great. You guys put a lot of effort into this, and it shows. Obviously, coming from the very first season to now, you can see how far it has grown, and production in the background is just phenomenal. Especially like the transitions when we're doing breaks, and you guys showed like the clips. When I first saw that, I was like, "Bro, we're making it big. We're making it big." But as far as shout outs, my captain, Action Days, I love you, homie. No, I can't say that on stream. But my team is great. I love you all, and hopefully going into the next game, we can still have the same mindset.
Yeah, for sure. Excited to see as your team develops throughout everything. But that will wrap it for tonight. Thank you, Smite fans, for sticking with us. It's been a long set, but it's been an exciting one, and that's what we promised to bring week in, week out. But we're going to close this one out for now, so have a great night, everybody.